Chapter 530. The only way Su Yin could think of was to contact Wang Yi through Big Boss Lin. Su Yin believed that Lin Shihai would definitely have a way. After all, he was a veteran Special Forces member who invested so much money in the Dragon Brigade every year. His relationship with the Dragon Brigade wasn't something that could be explained with just a few words. Su Yin didn't notice that he was being followed when he rushed back to Lin Shuero's house. Perhaps he was too focused on the Dragon Brigade's current state of readiness. Su Yin really couldn't sit still. He wasn't a warmonger who liked war, but he would never avoid it. Su Yin knew very well that sometimes war was a means to maintain peace. If the Japanese repeatedly provoked Turtle Island in the East China Sea, and Huaxia didn't give them a warning, the Japanese would misunderstand that Huaxia wasn't doing it for peace, but was a coward. Take action when needed. This saying wasn't only used when a hero saves a damsel in distress. It was applicable in many situations. No one wanted war in an era of peace because war would only bring disaster to the people. Some countries with ulterior motives even hoped that the Japanese would provoke Huaxia and cause a war. Therefore, the leaders would be more considerate when dealing with such matters. The Dragon Brigade entered a state of readiness because they were prepared for small-scale conflicts. If the Japanese dared to provoke them at this time, Huaxia's sharp blade would strike back fiercely. Let them know that Huaxia wasn't to be trifled with. If they were serious, they would die even more miserably. Su Yin finally returned to Lin Shuero's house with complicated feelings. Lin Shihai wasn't home, and he was still a little restless. What happened? Weren't you always afraid of my dad? Why are you looking for him today? Lin Shuero really didn't understand what Su Yin was thinking. Oh, are you afraid that I'm lying to you? Don't worry, once he goes out for business, he'll be home at least after 10 o'clock. If you really want to play the bathing game with me, you can rest assured that my dad won't suddenly come back halfway. Su Yin was speechless. He really didn't mean that. Lin Shuero hooked her finger provocatively. How about it? Let's make a bet. If you can resist my temptation, then I'll be at your disposal. I'll agree to anything you want unconditionally. Has your dad always been in contact with the Dragon Brigade? Su Yin suddenly thought of a problem. Since Lin Shihai was so close with the Dragon Brigade, he must have a close relationship with the Dragon Brigade too. If he was only close with Wang Yi, then he probably wouldn't have had the ability to borrow Su Yin from the Dragon Brigade to protect his daughter. Of course, Lin Shuero said. My dad's relationship with the Dragon Brigade must be solid. Hey, wait, we were talking about the bet. Why did you change the topic to my dad? Su Yin smiled. Okay, let's make a bet. If you lose, you have to agree to anything I ask of you. No matter how difficult it is, you have to do it for me. Okay. If you lose, then you'll have to agree to all my requests as well. Lin Shuero said. Even if I ask you to marry me tomorrow, you can't hesitate to agree. Su Yin nodded. Okay, you set the rules. Lin Shuero counted with her fingers and said, when I change into my bathrobe, the timer will officially start. The time limit is 1 hour. If I can make you lose control and kiss me on your own initiative within this hour, then I win. If you can still be as calm as Liu Xiaohui within an hour, then you win. Do you dare? That's not a problem, Su Yin said. But let me say this first. You have to wear the bathrobe. If you take off the bathrobe, it's a violation of the rules. If you break the rules, it's my win. If you take it off, it's a violation of the rules. It's my win. Lin Shuero suddenly gave Su Yin a soft and charming look, electrifying him and making him feel numb all over. Su Yin really regretted it. He didn't know if he made the right bet or not. But now there was no turning back. If he didn't even have this little bit of self-control, then he would really be in trouble. In the past, Su Yin's extreme young boy technique had not dissipated. Perhaps in terms of self-control, he was different from ordinary people. But now Su Yin didn't have the extreme young boy technique's internal force to protect his body, and he could already vaguely think of the subtle feeling when Yumarin slept with him that night. At this time, Su Yin was especially curious. Although he did what he should do, he didn't know what it felt like. This kind of curiosity was a huge challenge for Su Yin. So when Lin Shuero went back to the room to change clothes, Su Yin was a little regretful. He was really afraid that he couldn't control himself. If he collapsed, he would have no chips to ask Lin Shihai to help him. This bet was not only related to what Su Yin had to do if he lost, but also related to something bigger. So he had to win. He had to win. How could he win? When Lin Shuero stood in front of Su Yin with the timer, Su Yin almost collapsed. How could he win? Was this still a bathrobe? Weren't bathrobes all white towel coats? Such a flirtatious dress was simply a sexy bathrobe. Although it wasn't considered a bare chest, it was still a half-transparent lace. Coupled with the mesmerizing violet color, it was obviously premeditated by Lin Shuero, wasn't it? How could this work? Su Yin really wanted to vomit blood. Should I be the one to choose this bathrobe? The one you chose is too, can't afford to lose? Lin Shuero was aiming to defeat Su Yin. Su Yin was already very surprised to see that her sexy bathrobe could still hold up. Lin Shuero had always been very confident in her charm. Since elementary school, she had always been surrounded by all kinds of boys. Unfortunately, none of those boys could move Lin Shuero like Su Yin. Su Yin gritted his teeth. There's no such thing as a sore loser in my dictionary. A bet is a bet. Winning or losing is made of iron. Lin Shuero smiled slightly and slowly approached Su Yin. Her eyes were charming as she said softly, I like men like you who are true to their words. The closer Lin Shuero walked, the clearer Su Yin could see. When Lin Shuero was only a dozen centimeters away from Su Yin didn't dare to look directly at her. Lin Shuero was really willing to go all out. There was nothing under her bathrobe. This wasn't what Su Yin had guessed. If it wasn't for the vacuum, how could the bump on her chest be so obvious? The silk bathrobe was already thin enough. Coupled with the vacuum, the bump was even more obvious. Even if Su Yin was a player with high self-control, he really couldn't bear Lin Shuero's big move as soon as she came up. Su Yin took a deep breath and closed his eyes directly. If he continued to watch, even if Su Yin could hold it in, his brother, Su Yin, would definitely not be able to hold it in. This was too much, wasn't it? Su Yin really regretted it. He should have thought that since his opponent was Lin Shuero, she could do anything. Lin Shuero was the type to pursue Su Yin relentlessly from the beginning. For a girl like Lin Shuero, when she set her mind on a boy, she would definitely do things that ordinary people couldn't understand. This was normal. Closing one's eyes was tantamount to escaping. Lin Shuero saw that Su Yin had begun to lose control, so she sat beside Su Yin proudly. The first time is a yellow card warning. If you don't open your eyes, then I will directly judge that you have lost. Su Yin glared. That's not okay? Then you can't let me stare at you, right? I don't mind. Lin Shuero said proudly as she puffed out her chest. On the mature chest that was like a mountain range, the two obvious bumps once again hit Su Yin's surging heart. This was simply a one-hit kill. If a man didn't have any self-control, even if he didn't have a nosebleed, he would pounce on her without saying a word. Regardless of what happened, he would just charge forward and do the business. He really couldn't care about anything else. After all, the person in front of Su Yin now was not an ugly woman who looked like a flower, but the first campus belle of Yenjing University who was recognized by tens of thousands of boys for n consecutive years. What kind of concept was this? The concept of 1 in 10,000. No matter who it was, if Su Yin had no reaction in his current situation, it basically meant that he was a gay, not a straight man. He either had a physiological defect or a physiological abnormality. Have you seen enough? Lin Shuero pressed on step by step. She didn't believe that she couldn't subdue Su Yin. One of the reasons why she had been so interested in Su Yin was because Su Yin had never shown any signs of being a hooligan during the time he was with her. At first, Lin Shuero suspected that Su Yin was pretending, but as time passed, she found that he was really serious. This didn't mean that Su Yin didn't have any thoughts. Whoever didn't have thoughts wasn't a man. It was just that his sense of mission at that time was too strong. For a Special Forces member, a mission was a mission. He absolutely couldn't have any personal feelings during the mission. This was the basic quality of a Special Forces member. However, it was different now. Now, Su Yin was no longer a Special Forces member. Therefore, when he faced Ruan Qingshuang, Qin Wan Tang Jiu, Chou Yun, Sui Meiyan and Ling Jiling, he would have subtle psychological changes. This subtle psychological change was the same as when he faced Lin Shuero now. Ever since Su Yun lost his virginity to Yu Marin, he could clearly feel the changes in his body. Now he had a different feeling toward the opposite sex than before. This feeling was a strong yearning. Many people said that if you haven't eaten pork, you haven't seen a pig run. Actually, this was not right at all. Those who haven't eaten pork and have only seen a pig run definitely didn't know the taste of pork. This was something that couldn't be seen. For example, if you haven't slept with a woman and haven't seen a woman before, it was completely different. Who hasn't seen a woman before? However, only after really experiencing it, did Su Yun realize that women actually had such a tender side. This wasn't something that could be seen just by looking in the past. Chapter 531. Take Lin Shuero for example. She was the president of the student union in school, and a super top student admired by thousands of people. Every year, she received a first-class scholarship and all kinds of honors. This was the first time Su Yun came into contact with Lin Shuero. With more contact, Su Yun found that Lin Shuero was not only a top student, but also had other outstanding points. For example, when they went to the billiard hall for the first time, Lin Shuero used the calculation method of physics to let Su Yun know how to move accurately and beautifully make two strokes. Another example was when they went to a bar for the first time. Lin Shuero used the knowledge of chemical reactions between substances to make a cocktail named Rolling Bomb. Su Yun drank it and felt the feeling of carbonation in his stomach. He was almost driven crazy by her. No one would have thought that Lin Shuero would become a demoness after leaving campus. It was as if she had completely changed into a different person. Su Yun didn't dare imagine that Lin Shuero would do such a seductive thing. The charm and seduction that came from her twisting body wasn't inferior to the models on the Victoria's Secret underwear runway. If you haven't seen enough, I can let you touch it and feel it. Lin Shuero's bold seduction was like a spear that suddenly attacked and pierced Su Yun's protective shield without hesitation. Soft, Su Yun was completely soft. The girl had made such a request. If he didn't do it, wouldn't he be too unmanly? Su Yun had fallen into a passive position. When his hand was picked up by Lin Shuero's delicate hand and slowly approached her chest, Su Yun only had one thought, and that was to risk it all. The feeling of holding a ball of gentleness in his hand was too overwhelming. Who would be willing to take it away unless his brain was flooded with water? Wait a minute. He must win this bet. Su Yun pulled himself back to reality at the most critical moment. If he went on like this, he would really fall into Lin Shuero's trap. You are cheating. Su Yun reluctantly moved his palm away from Lin Shuero's chest. I didn't take the initiative. I was passive. I'm just using my body to my advantage. That's not cheating. Lin Shuero said. I didn't say whether you were active or passive. No matter whether you were active or passive, it doesn't count as your loss. The bet is that you'll lose if you kiss me first. Gulp. Su Yun's Adam's apple moved, and he swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Looking at Lin Shuero's posture, she had no intention of giving up, and was determined to win. In Lin Shuero's heart, she had already decided on her life's destination. No matter what Su Yun was like, she could unreservedly love this man who made her learn to love with great difficulty. Lin Shuero, who had been willful all her life, had never thought that she would one day lose to a man. And this man was now standing in front of her. All her pride had turned into floating clouds in front of Su Yun. She had never thought about whether she could truly have Su Yun, but she had unreservedly used everything to follow him. Lin Shuero made up her mind. No matter what Su Yun was like, she would give herself to him today. Only in this way could she feel that she would not lose this man who could disappear at any time. When Su Yun told her that he was going to look for her father, Lin Shuero was sure that Su Yun would leave again. The bet could not tie him down. Lin Shuero had never thought that she could win this bet. She was just purely fantasizing that through this bet, she could naturally give her everything to Su Yun. No matter where Su Yun went, there would be a place for her in his heart. Without waiting for Su Yun to recover from the previous wave of attacks, Lin Shuero directly straddled Su Yun's thighs. Without hesitation, she wrapped her arms around Su Yun's neck and looked at Su Yun. She did not hide her fiery heart and fiery love at all. In fact, Lin Xuero did not have to do anything. She was originally a very charming girl. A woman was not lovely because she was beautiful, but beautiful because she was lovely. This sentence actually made a lot of sense. After all, women who were born beautiful were very rare. Most women belonged to the common face. However, not only was Lin Xuero beautiful, she was also proficient in the 4 arts. This allowed Su Yin to easily understand her extraordinary charm of being as quiet as a virgin and as agile as a fleeing rabbit. Today, Lin Xuero showed her other side besides her elegance, which made Su Yin unable to resist her innate charm. A man seducing a woman was like a mountain, while a woman seducing a man was like a paper, which could be broken easily. Lin Xuero decided to do this because she was sure of this. She wanted to win the bet. There was only one requirement, which was to let Su Yin never forget her. And the best way to let Su Yin take the initiative to kiss her was when the love between a man and a woman was out of control. At this time, Su Yin's control would be at its lowest. Lin Xuero believed that as long as she asked gently, Su Yin would kiss her lips fiercely. Lin Xuero's intimate contact did make Su Yin somewhat unable to control himself. Under the strong stimulation, Su Yin's nerves flashed through his mind. Yes, everything that Yu Marin did to him that night, he recalled under the stimulation of Lin Xuero. Su Yin did not remember what happened that night, not because he was not awake that night. If he was not awake, he and Yu Marin would not have ended smoothly. It was just that when Su Yin finally let go of everything, the memory of that night also disappeared along with his intention of completely losing consciousness. The memory that was once again evoked was like a picture that could not be erased. Su Yin clearly remembered everything about Yu Marin. That kind of narrowness, that kind of special reach, that many wrinkles on the walls of the secluded path. And the first time they tried, they cut through thorns and thistles. There were several times when they gave up halfway and did not get the real fun. But once they touched the bullseye, the two suddenly produced a rhythm, contracting rapidly and violently. Yu Marin constantly twisted her snake-like waist, making dreamy sounds and panting, tossing and turning, wriggling. At this time, Su Yin lost all control and was led into an indescribably wonderful state. Everything that followed was like a dream that went straight up to the highest heavens. At this time, Su Yin knew that Yu Marin was the legendary weapon known as the 10 Heavenly Palaces. The wonderful memory was quickly pulled back to reality. Su Yin's violent reaction made Lin Xuero blush. She was very embarrassed. Not long after she rode on Su Yin's body, she felt a sudden attack on her without any warning. She was caught off guard and was at a loss. Lin Xuero softly moaned and directly plunged into Su Yin's arms. Su Yin was extremely embarrassed by this sudden incident, but he could not explain it now. Xuero, let's... No, I don't want to leave. Lin Xuero hugged Su Yin tightly. She knew that once Su Yin's emotions were controlled, she would lose her last chance. I can give you anything. I just want you to remember me forever. You can disappear at any time. I just want you to not forget me. Of course I won't forget you, Su Yin said. I will never forget. The first time I was troubled by a teacher in a university class, it was you who helped me out. The first time I fought with someone in the school cafeteria, it was also you who controlled my emotions so that I didn't cause a big mess. I owe you. Lin Xuero raised her hand to seal Su Yin's mouth. No, you don't owe me. It was I who couldn't control myself. I don't know if I should fall in love with you, but now that I have, then I can never go back on my words. Su Yin already did not care about the bet just now. He owed her too much. Gently kissing, Su Yin sealed Lin Xuero's words. Su Yin himself did not know whether what he did was right or not, but at least he felt that it was not wrong. I lost. Su Yin's smile made Lin Xuero unable to restrain her smile. She held Su Yin's face with both hands and said softly, there is no such thing as winning or losing between us. You lost, I also lost. I lost because I couldn't bear to let you leave, but I also couldn't bear to keep you by my side forever. I know why you are looking for my dad. Don't worry, I will definitely help you. You know? Su Yin was stunned and a little confused. Lin Xuero said lightly, I went to the company this afternoon. When I was at the door of my dad's office, I heard him talking on the phone. saying something like level 1 combat readiness. Those bastards in Japan are really asking for it, and things like that. Soo-yun quickly figured it out. In fact, it was not difficult to understand. Although Lin Shihai had left the Dragon Brigade, he was still a member of the Dragon Brigade. Level 1 combat readiness did not only mean those who were serving in the Dragon Brigade, but also those who retired from the Dragon Brigade. As long as the organization had an order for level 1 combat readiness, they had to unconditionally obey the order to prepare for war. Even Lin Shihai was notified, so why didn't Soo-yun? It was because Soo-yun did not retire normally, but was fired. If the brigade did not say anything, even Wang Yi did not have the right to transfer Soo-yun back. Perhaps it was because of deep love and deep hatred, but Soo-yun was a taboo in front of the brigade. If anyone dared to mention it, the consequences would be unimaginable. Not to mention them, even Wang Yi was severely punished because of this matter. This made no one dare to mention the name Yanlong in front of the brigade. Could it be that they had really forgotten about him? Soo-yun smiled bitterly. It seemed that he was really an abandoned child. I know, there must be some important task, or else my dad wouldn't be so serious. Lin Shuero said, I have heard a little about you, and I know that you must want to go back now. I will ask my dad to help you. Soo-yun shook his head. It's better not to make things difficult for your dad. Suddenly, Lin Shihai pushed the door and came in. He said lightly, It is indeed difficult for me. However, this is also what I want to discuss with you today. Seeing her dad suddenly come in, Lin Shuero blushed instantly. She quickly turned over Soo-yun's body and ran back to the room to change clothes without looking back. Lin Shihai just turned a blind eye to this, as if he did not see it. I mentioned you to the brigade today, Lin Shihai said. Soo-yun's heart thumped. He had not looked forward to it for a long time. What did he say? He did not say anything. Lin Shihai smiled slightly. I thought he would fly into a rage like before, but I did not expect that he did not get angry with me. Maybe it was because of the phone call. Well, in short, I said that you are with me, and I hope to let you return to the team temporarily. He did not agree, nor did he disagree. This is all I can do for you. No matter how much you ask, I can't do anything. As for Wang Yi, even if I don't fight with him, he will definitely fight for you in front of the brigade. Chapter 532. Soo-yun's inner turmoil was instantly triggered by Lin Shihai. He did not expect that before he made his request, Lin Shihai would mention him to the chief first. Aren't you worried that the chief will go crazy? Maybe he won't add me to the organization, and he might even kick you out of the team. You don't think I can really go to the battlefield, do you? Lin Shihai laughed bitterly. I've been crippled for 30 years. Even if I go to the battlefield now, I'll only be a burden to my brothers. Originally, when I received the notice, it was just a formality to prepare for battle. Regardless of whether it was Wang Yi or the main corps, they were all very clear about my situation. Any scout company in any military region would be several times stronger than me. The only thing I could do now was to help out my brothers in logistics, and contribute more food and water. The battle, I can only rely on you guys. I can't do it anymore. Soo-yun didn't understand what Lin Shihai meant. He quietly waited for Lin Shihai to continue. Lin Shihai took out a box of cigarettes from his pocket, and handed one to Soo-yun. Soo-yun didn't stand on ceremony. He reached out to take it, and lit it in his mouth. Lin Shihai also lit one and took a deep drag. After I received the call today, I went to the headquarters. Lin Shihai said lightly. First, I wanted to see the old bones who have been with me all these years. Second, I wanted to mention your matter to the brigade. Most people supported the proposal, but whether you will be recalled in the end depends on the brigade. What else could Soo-yun say? Other than gratitude, there was only gratitude. At least these seniors gave him great support. In the eyes of the brigade, this support was more meaningful than the entire Dragon Fury team standing up to plead for mercy. These seniors had watched them grow up. When Soo-yun first joined the Dragon Brigade at the age of 5, they were already protecting their country. So their trust in Soo-yun was a great affirmation of Soo-yun. With their support, Soo-yun was even more certain that he could be summoned by the brigade. He had to wait for the brigade or Wang Yi's orders. In this moment of crisis, he only cared about the dragon's fury. At least for now, the Japanese have no intention of messing around, so we don't have to be too anxious. Lin Shihai said. A few days ago there was a fire at the Japanese Devil Shrine in Dongying. The people of the Dongying cabinet suspect that someone deliberately set the fire, so they are conducting a strict investigation. Listening to their official news, they suspect that this incident has something to do with Huaxia's patriots. 2 days later, the Japanese media reported that someone detected Killer Q in Japan. Su Yin frowned slightly. That's impossible, right? I have some friendship with CFAIs, but he retired 2 years ago. It's hard to say if this report is true. Does my current state count as having washed my hands of the Golden Basin for 30 years? Lin Shihai laughed and said, but if right now I have the opportunity to burn down their Japanese Jingwa Devil Society, I won't hesitate to set fire to it. Oh, I think this report is somewhat credible. No matter what, CFAIs is a descendant of our Huaxia's Yellow Emperor. The blood of the dragon runs in his veins. Knowing that the Japanese have been so arrogant recently, any Huaxia person would burn down the place where they worship the war criminals if they have the chance. These words were indeed reasonable. Su Yun had to admit that as long as it was a hot-blooded Chinese man or woman, when they saw a place where Class A war criminals were worshipped, they would have the urge to spit and set it on fire. If CFAIs really went to Dongying, with his temper he would definitely find a chance to burn down the place where the Japanese worshipped those damned bastards. If this was really CFAI's doing, Lin Gu would definitely know a thing or two. But regardless of whether it was CFAI's doing or not, he helped the people of the country vent their anger. It also made the Japanese have some misgivings about Turtle Island in the East China Sea. At the very least, the Haitsuka Special Forces that the Japanese cabinet had originally arranged to land on the island were forced to stay behind to guard the Japanese shrine. The Haitsuka Special Forces were specially trained by the Japanese Self-Defense Forces. Just from the name alone, one would know that they were perverted. In Dongying, Haitsuka was also known as the corpse thief. It was a terrifying monster that lived in the graveyard. It would steal the corpses of people who had just died and send them to their homes to scare them. It was a ghost that liked to play pranks. Sometimes it would only cut off a part of the corpse and send it to someone's home to scare them. That was why it was also called the corpse thief. A special force with such a name was definitely perverted. Dongying was also in chaos now. Lin Shihai said lightly. Moreover, it is said that the Japanese cabinet sent a traditional Japanese family, the Nakamura family, to enter Huaxia in the name of electronic equipment to research some dangerous nuclear weapons. That is the burned Darii electronics. In the end, we saw through it and arranged for a medical team to do a spot check on the pollutants discharged by Darii electronics. Just as they confirmed that there was a source of pollution in their sewage, Darii electronics was burned. Now, it is said that the Nakamura family's father and son died in a car accident on a mountain road. These are not predestined. There are so many promising young people in our country. Any one or two of them could cause a headache for the Japanese cabinet. What else could Su Yin say? He could only smile faintly. This was related to him after all. Seeing Su Yun's reaction, Lin Shihai nodded proudly. I knew I was right. The Nakamura family's Darii electronics incident is related to you. I didn't say anything. How is it related to me again? Su Yun was really impressed by Lin Shihai. His eyes were too good at reading people and things, but how could he not see through the head commander's intentions? Who exactly did not allow him to participate in this mission? Lin Shihai saw that Su Yun did not admit it, so he snorted and said disdainfully, Brother Su Yun, I have been in society for so many years, and my business is not small. If I can't even see through a person, wouldn't I be killed by a bastard? You don't have to deny it. Just now, after I told you about Xinjiang Darii Electronics, you could smile so calmly without any surprise or excitement. Obviously, this was done by you, because when you heard that the Japanese Devil's Shrine was burned, your eyes lit up. Obviously, it was not done by you, but you wanted to do it very much. Am I right? Big Boss Lin, it's meaningless for you to say this now. Since you are so good at reading people, why can't you see what the head commander wants? Su Yin. Not to mention that I can't see through him. Even if our military commander comes, I'm afraid he can't see what he is thinking. He always has a straight face, no expression at all. Lin Shihai said, since our time, his nickname was Zombie Face Monster. Now you guys still call him Zombie Face Monster. What do you think I can see from a zombie face monster? The nickname Zombie Face Monster was indeed a nickname Su Yun heard after he joined the Dragon Fury team. At that time, Lin Shihai had already retired to the second line and no longer participated in training and missions. His daily task was to come to the Dragon Brigade to take a look, and most of the time he was running his furniture store. The first time Su Yun heard that Wan Guangxiao's nickname was Zombie Face Monster, he heard it from Lin Shihai's mouth. Later, when the head commander Wan Guangxiao heard about it, he directly ordered that Lin Shihai not be allowed to casually enter the Dragon Brigade. At that time, Lin Shihai was already officially retired, so he really shouldn't come here so often. Because of that, Lin Shihai started to pay more attention to his business and developed the Lin family's mahogany home furnishings into a luxury item in Huaxia. Lin Shihai, whose ancestors were carpenters, also got married and had children after that. And Wan Guangxiao originally thought that the nickname would disappear from then on, but it was still passed down by Su Yun. Until now, every member of the Dragon Fury team knew the nickname Zombie Face Monster. Including Wang Yi, they all praised that the nickname was good, and it was especially suitable for Wan Guangxiao's temperament. Su Yun hadn't discussed Zombie Face Monster with his brothers in private for a long time. Now that he heard the nickname, he felt that it was really fresh. You still dare to call me that? Haha, if I didn't learn to call you Zombie Face Monster from you when I was 5 years old, I wouldn't have left the Dragon Brigade for so long without the head commander sending me a greeting. Su Yun, it's all your fault. Now that such a big thing has happened, you still didn't call me back. You really don't treat me as a member of the Dragon Brigade. It has nothing to do with me. Lin Shihai smiled. I've called him for so many years, but he really didn't send me any greetings. But as long as there's a level 1 combat readiness, I'll still be notified. Su Yun, you still don't understand. The reason you didn't get notified isn't because of the head commander or your master. It's because you caused too much trouble at that time. Su Yun's expression changed when he heard this. Can't I do anything to a scum? If that bastard didn't betray our Dragon Fury, none of our brothers would have died in that place. I couldn't even bring back his ashes. How can I face his family? How can I face so many brothers in my Dragon's Fury Special Forces? Even though it's been a year, I still don't regret being kicked out of the Dragon Fury team because of my irrationality. What I regret most is that I didn't take that bastard's life on the spot. Lin Shihai could understand the pain of losing a brother who had gone through life and death together, so he didn't say anything else. He just patted Su Yun on the shoulder. It's all in the past. At this time, Lin Shuero had already put on her clothes and walked out of the room. She thought about how her father saw her being so proactive just now. Which girl wouldn't be shy? Dad, next time when you come home, can you tell me in advance? You clearly said that you'll be back very late, but you suddenly appeared. Are you trying to surprise me or scare me? My heart is cold because of what you said. Lin Shihai sighed. Okay. I'll take it that I disturbed my precious daughter flirting with my future son-in-law. It's my fault. You guys continue. I'll go out and wait for a while. When you call, I'll come back. Dad, if you dare to talk nonsense again, you know the consequences. Don't blame me for calling my mom and telling her that you're eating with an unfamiliar aunt outside. Lin Shuero narrowed her eyes and gritted her teeth. Lin Shihai's face turned green. Shuero, you're talking nonsense and wrongly accusing me. Then let's see who Mom believes. Lin Shuero raised her eyebrows and provoked. Chapter 533. Su Yun had a place to stay in Yanjing, and he could get first-hand information about the Dragon Brigade anytime and anywhere, which was definitely good news for Su Yun. But Lin Shuero's BMW Z4 and the Lamborghini that Su Yun won for Fu Tian appeared in the same yard at the same time, which really shocked Song Dong's two underlings. They originally just wanted to track down where Fu Tian had taken the Lamborghini, because Fu Tian hadn't driven the car after he won it, and neither had the people around him. This made Song Dong very unhappy. He was going to find a chance to win the car back, But now the car was nowhere to be seen. How could he not think about it? Therefore, Song Dong immediately arranged 2 guys who usually fooled around with him to investigate this matter. These 2 guys were really wild, and they actually did it so quickly. They also brought Song Dong a more shocking news. The red BMW that Song Dong was investigating at the same time was parked in the same villa yard as the Lamborghini he lost. Are you sure you didn't see wrong? Is the license plate number right? Song Dong's expression was as angry as Azura's, and his heart was filled with anger. It was as if he had just eaten a lit firecracker, and a ball of gunpowder instantly exploded in his chest. I'm sure, Brother Dong, that BMW is the one you're looking for, and that Lamborghini is the one you lost. I dare to swear on my head that I didn't see wrong. The underling who reported the news said very seriously. I was afraid that I saw wrong, so I borrowed a high-end SLR camera from my friend to take a picture. That camera is very high-end, and the lens can be very close. The license plate is definitely right. Song Dong frowned. Where's the picture? Show me the camera. The underling who reported the news scratched his head. I accidentally opened the bottom cover of the camera after taking the picture. I was afraid that the film would be exposed, so I quickly returned it. I'll send it to Brother Dong tomorrow after I wash it. Film? Song Dong was stunned and raised his hand to slap the back of the guy's head. Glue your ass. Who are you fooling? Do you have a SLR camera that loads film? Do you think I'm a fool? Call your friend right now and send the picture to your email. Hurry up. Soon, the underling asked the other party to send the photo over through the Penguin chat software. Song Dong took a closer look. It was indeed the red BMW. The Lamborghini next to it was also his own beloved horse. Even if it had been transferred and the license plate changed, he could still recognize it at a glance. This was because the wheel hub of his car had been changed and modified. It was very unique. Son of a bitch. Fu Tian, that grandson, actually teamed up with others to mess with me. Humph. No wonder such a blind bastard would appear at such a crucial moment. Song Shi, who was sitting on the side, gnashed his teeth and said, Dongge, no wonder that kid dared to fight the 4 of us. It seems that he planned this beforehand. Song Bei also spat and cursed. That grandson dares to play with us like this. Then we can't let him get away with it. I'm going to settle the score with him now. Song Dong suddenly raised his hand. Wait. This is definitely not what you think it is. We suddenly appeared in front of Fu Tian and said that we wanted to compete with him. Even we wanted to mess with him on the spur of the moment. How could he have arranged it beforehand? That person was definitely not deliberately arranged by Fu Tian. Do you remember who Fu Tian was talking with when we saw him that day? A man and a woman, Song Nan said. As soon as his voice fell, he suddenly realized and slapped his thigh. Donggu, I remember now. The red BMW was at the entrance of the bar that night. Those 2 people were with Fu Tian. They must have seen that Fu Tian went with us, so they came to make trouble for us. Song Dong's expression was serious. It was obvious that he still agreed with Song Nan's words. Fu Tian seemed to respect that man and woman very much. It seems that if I want to know who those 2 people are, I can only ask Situshing Donggu. We are not very familiar with Brother Deshing, and when Brother Deshing dominated the circle of rich people in Yanjing, we were still playing with blocks at home. Would he care about us? Song Shi said somewhat unconfidently. Song Dong did not think so. A real man does not talk about his past achievements. Back then, he was indeed Brother Deshing, who was respected by all the rich people in the circle of rich people in Yanjing. But now times are different. Situshing is no longer a member of our circle. Now we call him Brother Deshing, which is giving him face. If we don't give him face, we can just ask him to pour the wine when we order. Domineering. Donggu is still the domineering one. Song Shi thought about it, and felt that it was reasonable. His face immediately bloomed like a flower. Now in the circle of rich people in Yanjing, they were the Song brothers who were respected by everyone. Situshing had already passed this time. Brother, let's go now, shall we? Song Bei was also happy. It felt absolutely great to be able to show off in front of a rich senior. Situshing had lived a peaceful life for so many years. He did not expect that at the age of 35, there would be a few young boys who would challenge him. They only ordered 2 bottles of Royal Salute in his bar. and they dared to clamor for him to get them a glass of wine. Well, then he really wanted to see what these boys were capable of. Seeing Situshing get up, Iron Hammer, who was standing beside him, finally could not hold back. Brother Dishing, are you really going to pour wine for those boys? Customers were God. After all, they were the customers. Situshing smiled slightly. He had retired for so many years, but Iron Hammer still followed him. This really touched him. There were not many people who could still respect only one master in their life. Since Situshing said so, Iron Hammer did not say anything else. He just quietly followed Situshing. If others disrespected Situshing in any way, Iron Hammer would definitely be the first to take action. In Iron Hammer's world, no matter how Situshing declined, he was still his benefactor who helped him when he was at his most difficult time. Hey brothers, how are you drinking? Situshing smiled and walked to the private room where Songdong and the others were. He waved his hand and Iron Hammer put a dozen bottles of beer on the table. Songdong did not speak, he just smiled slightly. Songshi's expression was interesting. He said in a slightly provocative tone, "Isn't this Brother Dishing? With your identity, aren't you shortening our lifespan by giving us a toast?" Brother Shi, what you said is wrong. What do you mean shortening lifespan? We are consumers, and consumers are God. The boss just poured us a glass of wine. What's wrong with that? Songbei said lightly. I don't think there's anything wrong with this. Don't you think so, boss? Situshing smiled but did not speak. Iron Hammer behind him said coldly, Brother Dishing has given enough face. If you still don't like it, then please ask for another place. Our temple is small and can't accommodate the Song brothers. Songnan slapped the table. Hey, Brother Dishing is Brother Dishing. Even the dog next to you is so imposing. We brothers are here to spend money and have fun, not to be angry. Brother Dishing, aren't your subordinates a bit too much? My people are not sensible. I hope you don't mind. Situshing smiled slightly and said, I apologize for the wine. Everyone have fun. Then Situshing wanted to turn around and leave. He did not want to waste time with these juniors. After all, this was his place. He was afraid that these guys would not dare to make trouble here. He gave them face because he did not want to get into unnecessary trouble. Brother Dishing, you gave us a dozen bottles of beer to send us away, right? Songdong finally opened his mouth. It's not too hot now. Isn't it a bit unreasonable to drink beer? Songdong, you are now among the young masters in the Yanjing circle. Situshing still had that smile on his face. Then you should know the rules. No matter what, I am your senior. Don't you think it's a bit too much to talk to your senior like this? I don't have any friendship with you. If you say that you are here to make trouble for me, I don't believe it. Even if you are looking for fun, you don't dare to come to my place and make trouble. Tell me, what is it? I don't have time to play Tai Chi with you. Be straightforward. Songdong did not expect Situshing to see through his intention at a glance. Brother Dishing is really a straightforward person. Then I won't beat around the bush. If there's anything, I'll just say it. Last night, Fu Tian came to your place. At your entrance, he was quite close to a man and a woman. I just want to know who that man is. Situshing could guess who Songdong was looking for even with his toes. Fu Tian had some connection with Su Yin at his place yesterday. As for why they were close, it was Su Yin's ability. The person you are looking for is probably someone you can't afford to offend. Situshing continued to smile and said, Songdong, I'll give you a piece of advice. If you want to live a bit more comfortably, then don't go looking for trouble. If you have any connection with Fu Tian, you can go directly to Fu Tian to solve it. But now it's not only Fu Tian who has a connection with me, there's also that man. The more Songdong could not get an answer, the more curious he was. The account between Fu Tian and me, I will slowly settle it with him. But that person and I have a big grudge. Because of him, my second brother almost lost his life. This account, I can't just ignore it. How can we continue to mingle in the future? Situshing looked at Songdong's aggressive eyes, and had no intention of avoiding them. He said softly, Then I'll warn you in advance. If you provoke someone you shouldn't provoke, you won't be able to mingle. If you want to continue drinking, I'll give you a 5% discount. If you don't want to drink, then get lost. At the end of his speech, the smile on Situ Xing's face was gone. Although he was doing business and had to welcome people with a smiling face, if this group of juniors wanted to ride on top of his head and behave atrociously, he was afraid it was really not their turn. Even if Situ Xing's temper was good, he could not withstand people's repeated provocation. Seeing Situ Xing's temper, the Song family brothers all stood up. Their temper was somewhat out of control. Tai Chui took a step forward and picked up a wine bottle from the table. Scowling, he said, "Who dares to move? Let me see. If I don't teach you a lesson, you won't know how many eyes Ma Wangye has, right?" Unfortunately, some people did not believe in evil. Song Bei's temper flared up. His brain did not think about anything. He directly raised his hand and picked up a wine bottle. "Put it down. Or are you trying to scare?" Chapter 534. Seeing this, the Song brothers were dumbfounded. Iron Hammer's momentum was like a rainbow, completely subduing the four Song brothers. Although the relationship between the brothers of the previous generation of the Song family was very subtle, the relationship between these cousins of the uncle's generation was extremely strong. Seeing Song Bei's head bleeding, Song Dong's mind was completely confused. He only had one thought, which was to save people. "Situ Xing, let's wait and see," Song Dong said heavily. "I won't let you go. Even if you don't say anything, I can still find the person I'm looking for. There's nothing I can't do in the entire Yanjing city." Situ Xing didn't even look back to pay attention to his threat. He sighed in his heart. Young people are too impulsive. He knew very well that he couldn't stop these guys from courting death. Hopefully, Su Yun's temper was a little better than before. Then these bastards wouldn't be beaten until they couldn't even recognize their own father. After they left, Iron Hammer lowered his head and said, "Brother Deshing, I caused trouble for you again. Don't worry, I'm afraid this time the trouble won't come to us." Situ Xing shook his head helplessly. "They'll definitely count this on Su Yun. I'm really sorry for Su Yun." "Brother Deshing, then I'll go inform Su Yun right now, okay?" Iron Hammer said. "I'm really sorry for him if I do that." "Don't worry, I'm afraid the Song brothers won't be able to touch Su Yun in Yanjing." Situ Xing said. "I've already warned them not to provoke him, but they didn't listen. The Song brothers also have a lot of connections. They'll definitely find Su Yun soon. Since they want to try the feeling of hitting their heads against a wall, then we can't do anything about it. Let them be." Iron Hammer nodded and confirmed. "You really don't need to inform Su Yun to get ready? These guys, I think they're very cunning." Situ Xing nodded with certainty and trust. "You can rest assured. The people they can invite may have some ability, but those abilities and skills are nothing in front of Su Yun. Iron Hammer, you can be considered an expert who has just stepped into the door. Don't tell me you can't see the changes in Su Yun's body." "Brother Deshing, what do you mean? Su Yun has always been very strong, I know that," Iron Hammer said. "Could it be he has improved again?" Situ Xing nodded. "Judging from the aura on Su Yun's body right now, I'm afraid that he has already broken through the most difficult bottleneck and become a true super expert." A super expert? As a third-rate expert who had yet to break through to the second-rate realm, a super expert was a godlike existence. Previously, Su Yun, who had yet to break through to the realm of super experts, could easily deal with him. Now in front of Su Yun he was probably just an ant. The few of them were going to provoke a super expert. Just thinking about it, Iron Hammer felt a lingering fear for them. Those brats basically had no chance of surviving, right? Unless they wanted to spend money to hire killers. This was Situ Xing's only worry, but he also didn't believe that anyone would be willing to risk their life to kill a super expert and earn a bounty. Thinking of this, Situ Xing immediately left with Iron Hammer. He hadn't checked the evil spirits list for a long time. He really didn't know what the number behind Yanlong's name was. The Song family had their own private hospital. Song Bei's bloody appearance really scared the doctors in the hospital. No one dared to believe that someone would dare to do such a heavy blow to the fourth son of the Song family. In the panic, Song Bei was quickly sent to the emergency room. It was just a small blow to the head, and a group of people were so nervous. It was obvious that Song Bei had been spoiled since he was a child. Brother Dong, we can't just let Situshing go like this. His people are so heavy-handed. If anything happens to the fourth son, how can we explain it to the family? In the end, Song Shi was still worried that he wouldn't be able to explain it to the family. Song Nen also spat angrily. Yes, Brother Dong. Situshing obviously didn't put us in his eyes. He directly slapped us in the face, and slapped us so loudly. If we don't teach him a lesson and don't tear down his broken bar, how can we face people in the future if this matter spreads out? Of course I will take back what should be taken back. Song Dong snorted. But haven't you heard? Situshing and that iron hammer next to him are not ordinary people. They are both experts. Situshing withdrew from the circle of Yanjing's playboys because he had the opportunity to become an expert. Song Nen nodded seriously. Indeed, now 3 or 5 people who can fight can't even think about getting close to Situshing. Situshing warned us not to touch that guy. Obviously, that guy is also an expert. Song Dong continued. So we can't use ordinary people's methods to deal with that guy. In that case, we can only say that we are looking for trouble. We need to ask an expert to help. Expert? Song Shi and Song Nan were both interested. Brother Dong, what are you going to do? I know a website where you can spend money to hire any expert who has registered their identity. They all have a clear price. Song Dong sneered. I don't believe that they can't find someone who can deal with them. Brother Dong, you are so wise. Song Shi said. As long as we invite an expert, they will be easily dealt with. Song Nen nodded desperately. Yes, invite an expert. Let him deal with Situshing and Iron Hammer. This way we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. It seems that you still don't understand what I mean. Song Dong said. Of course we have to invite someone to deal with Situshing and Iron Hammer first. If he has the ability to deal with these 2 people, then we will let him deal with that guy. This way, we will have full confidence. Song Shi and Song Nan nodded vigorously, showing an expression that Brother Dong had considered everything thoroughly. Soon, Song Dong would personally explain to them what it meant to not seek death, and they wouldn't die. After staying up all night, he finally chose an expert with the highest price from the employment website he knew. When Song Dong left his contact information, the other party quickly called. Hello? Song Dong didn't expect it to be so fast, so he asked tentatively. Where to meet? The other party was concise and went straight to the point. I will say the rules first. Pay half of the deposit, and pay the other half when it is done. When Song Dong heard that it was the expert he wanted to invite, he nodded hurriedly. Yes, don't worry about this. Absolutely don't worry. Everything will be done according to your rules. But, the price you want is? It depends on who you are dealing with. The other party said. Just bring your bank card. Good. Half an hour later, I will meet you at the gate of Maple Forest Park. Song Dong said. I will drive an Audi A8 there and wait for you. Good. The other party simply hung up the phone. Half an hour later, the 3 brothers just stopped at the gate of Maple Forest Park. Not far away, a guy in a trench coat and a baseball cap walked straight to the car. The driver was Song Shi, and the one sitting in the passenger seat was Song Nan. Seeing this, they both looked back at Song Dong, who was sitting in the back seat waiting for that person. Brother Dong, this should be the person. I can't even see his face clearly. Did we run into a charlatan? Song Nen didn't believe it. Yes, Brother Dong, if it is a charlatan in the middle of the night, it will be troublesome. We must see his face later. Song Shi nodded with certainty. If he cheated us of our money and ran away, we can at least have some clues. It's best to take his ID card. In fact, Song Dong had no confidence like them, but now he could only grit his teeth and endure. Whether he was a charlatan or not, he had to see him first. While talking, the man in a hat and trench coat was already standing in front of their car. Song Nen opened the door and got out of the car to say hello, then opened the back door and motioned for the other party to get in and talk. The man smiled in the dark and didn't get in the car directly. He said to the 3 of them lightly, Since you don't believe me and think I am a charlatan, then let's not waste time. As for the ID card, it is even more ridiculous. If he is a charlatan, do you think his ID card is real? I am a man of principles, and I will never cooperate with fools. These words were said in the car just now. In terms of soundproofing, this luxury car was definitely not vague. How could this person hear it? But with this, Song Dong was sure that this person was very capable. He hurriedly got out of the car. Master, please forgive us. We are young and ignorant. Please forgive us. We are sincerely asking you to help us. The man in the trench coat snorted and sat in the car under Song Nan's flattery. Song Shi didn't get out of the car in the driver's seat. When he saw the man in the trench coat come in, he hurriedly greeted him. But the man in the trench coat didn't give him any attention or reaction at all. If it weren't for the fact that he had a favor to ask, Song Shi would have been angry. This person didn't give him any face. He had never taken the initiative to show kindness to anyone. The first time he did this, he was met with a nose full of dust. The feeling of someone giving him the cold shoulder was really unpleasant. However, Song Shi didn't know that the thing he did the most every day was to use his cold shoulder to touch someone's warm shoulder. This was called retribution. After Song Dong got in the car, he quickly closed the door and sincerely extended his right hand. Hello, I am Song Dong who contacted you. May I know your name? If you have something to say, say it. Don't talk so much nonsense. The man in the trench coat said. Every business has its own rules. I am not here to make friends. We are in a cooperative relationship. You are the employer. Tell me who you want to deal with and give me half of the deposit. After it is done, I will naturally ask you for the other half. Although Song Dong's right hand was awkwardly put down, he felt that the more it was like this, the more reliable it was. Great. Then I will say it. Help me burn down the Suhi bar in the North Ring. By the way, teach their boss Situ Xing and his follower Tai Chui a lesson. The man in the trench coat was stunned. The kind that won't kill? That's right. Song Dong said. Brother, this is just one of the things I want you to do. As long as you do it well, what I want you to do next is the main thing. Chapter 535. His words were too domineering. The more arrogant the other party was, the more certain Song Dong was that he didn't find the wrong person. If this was a small matter, then he must have done something like killing and robbing on a daily basis. I really found a treasure. The 2 million was worth it. Big brother, I just asked you to burn down a bar and teach 2 people a lesson. I didn't ask you to kill and rob. Isn't your price a bit high? Song Nan laughed and tried to talk to the other party about the price. If we find someone from the underworld to do this, I'm afraid it can be done with 100,000 or 80,000, right? First of all, don't call me brother. We have an employer-employee relationship. The man in the trench coat said. If you think there is a difference between setting a fire and killing and robbing, then you don't have to find me. You can find someone from the underworld to deal with it. But since you found me, it means that you have considered it. This matter is impossible for someone from the underworld to deal with. Either they don't dare to do anything to the person you want to deal with, or the person you want me to deal with is a master. Do you think what I said makes sense? I'll give you 10 seconds to think about it. If you don't think about it, then I don't have time to waste here with you. Think about it. Think about it. Absolutely think about it. Song Dong said to the man in the trench coat while glaring at Song Nan, telling him not to talk nonsense. If he could really get to know such a fierce person, let alone 2 million, even if he had to spend 20 million more, he wouldn't blink an eye. Now Song Dong only hoped that this person wouldn't let him down. He could be a real master among masters. After helping him solve the thing he hated in his heart, he could slowly talk about the establishment of a personal relationship. When the time came, he would directly hire him. Then he would see who in Yanjing dared to be impolite to him. Of course, this was just a fantasy. This step hadn't been realized yet. I brought my bank card, but now the bank's ATM machine has a limit of 20,000. Song Dong was stunned. This money, can we pay together tomorrow? You can swipe your card. While speaking, the man in the trench coat took out a POS machine from his pocket and handed it to Song Dong. Shocking, this was really shocking. Why was it like a skit? Song Dong swiped the card in his hand and quickly pressed the password. Soon 1 million cash was transferred. The man's phone beeped twice. He took it out and glanced at it. The money had been transferred. Only then did he put away the POS machine. I'll do it tonight. You can rest assured about my efficiency. Tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning, you can go and confirm whether I've done it or not. Then we'll meet again at this place. The man in the trench coat said, "Remember, bring your bank card. I'm here for the balance." After that, the man in the trench coat got out of the car and left. Soon he disappeared into the darkness. "Brother Dong, do we really trust him that much?" Song Nen muttered in his heart again. What if he really ran away? We didn't even see what he looked like. He was wearing a hat so low. No matter how I look at him, he looks like a scammer. What do you know? Aren't all experts like this? "Lao-san," Song Dong said. "I'm telling you, don't talk nonsense anymore. Whether this matter can succeed or not, we'll see the result tomorrow. Second brother, let's go back to the hospital." The room that Lin Xuero arranged for Su Yun was indeed very comfortable. Su Yun also particularly enjoyed the feeling of living in this kind of room. It was just that it was getting late, but Lin Xuero had no intention of leaving. This was really a headache for Su Yun. After all, this was someone else's home. He had no right to send her away. Lin Xuero seemed to have endless topics to talk about in front of him. If Su Yun was not in the mood on a normal day, it would not be a problem to chat with her. But now Su Yun was always absent-minded. His mind was full of the things in the special forces. A few days ago, the Dragon Fury team was dispatched once because of Yu Marin's team of doctors. He was worried enough at that time. This time, it was probably even more dangerous than the last time. If he could not personally lead the team out, he was afraid that he would not be able to sleep well at night. Su Yun? Lin Xuero could see that Su Yun was very absent-minded. It seemed that he was always thinking about something. "Something on your mind? Are you thinking about the two girls?" Su Yun was really confused by Lin Xuero's question. Because of the Dragon Brigade, Su Yun really put Ruan Qingshuang and Qin Wan'er aside. But they should have already been used to the days when Su Yun was not around. "No, I just... Haha, forget it. You won't understand even if I tell you." "I definitely understand. You are in the same state as my dad," Lin Xuero said. "My dad is still like this. Every time he hears that there is an emergency at your place, he will be absent-minded for a few days. I have asked him several times. With his current physical condition, he can't help at all. He said that his heart has already been there for a long time. Maybe you are the same. Although you have been fired from that place, your heart has also been there." Su Yun did not expect Lin Xuero to know so much about the Dragon Brigade. It seemed that Lin Shihai's confidentiality agreement was not good enough. Logically speaking, these things should not be revealed to the family at all. Lin Xuero was very smart. She saw through Su Yun's thoughts at a glance. "Don't worry. What I know is only superficial. I won't ask about the secrets of your place. Besides, my dad has contributed so much every year. I have a part in it too. I have a direct relationship with your place. It is normal for me to know some things. I didn't mean to say you." Su Yun smiled. "Xuero, it is late. Let's go to bed early. Let's sleep together." Lin Xuero's face turned red. "You are so direct. Can't you be more tactful? No matter what, I am still a girl. If you are so explicit, it will make me embarrassed." Su Yun's mind was in a mess. "I didn't mean that. When I said together, I meant together at the same time. I despise you." Lin Xuero pouted angrily. She turned around and walked out of Su Yun's room. This guy was really infuriating. He was not helpful at all. Looking at Lin Xuero's departing figure, Su Yun shook his head helplessly. Sigh, what could he do? Not to mention the fact that they were in a crisis now. Even if nothing happened, he did not know how to talk to Lin Xuero about those romantic things. Throughout the night, Lin Xuero kept thinking that if her father had not returned at such a critical moment, would Su Yun have also submitted to her bathrobe under her skirt after her straightforward confession? The more this man was like this, the more interested she was in him. Lin Xuero really wanted to shout at Su Yun. Even if you are playing hard to get, you have already won. Don't always play hard to get. She couldn't stand this kind of torture again and again. However, Perhaps only a girl with Lin Shuero's character would throw herself into Su Yun's arms regardless of her own safety, knowing that he was so unstable. Perhaps it was because the atmosphere in Peking University was too comfortable that she wished to obtain more stimulation. Otherwise, life would definitely be dull and boring. The next morning, Song Dong, who was still asleep, received a call from the man in the trench coat. The man in the trench coat asked him to turn on the TV now. If it weren't for the fact that Song Dong still had a favor to ask, he would have already cursed. It was really hateful to disturb his sleep so early. When Song Dong turned on the TV according to the man in the trench coat and switched to Beijing TV, the morning news of Beijing TV was broadcasting a news report about a fire at a bar. The owner of the bar and many of the staff and guests had suffered different degrees of burns. Seeing this, Song Dong instantly became energetic. He was so excited that he almost jumped up on the bed. Situ Xing and Iron Hammer, who you mentioned, are now in the hospital. The man in the trench coat said, "I've taught them a lesson and burned them. Can we settle the bill now?" Money was not a problem. A sinister smile appeared on Song Dong's face. "Let's not meet in Fenglin Park today. I'll treat you to breakfast at the Heavenly Building. After we settle the bill, I have another favor to ask. If you can do it, I can increase the price by 10 times. The man in the trench coat on the other side of the phone was silent for a while. He used the bill to calculate the difficulty of his estimation. When he felt that there was no problem, he agreed. "Okay, I'll wait for you at the Heavenly Building." The Heavenly Building was the best place to have breakfast in Yanjing. There were all kinds of breakfast from all over the country. It was very rich and the environment was very elegant. Except for the price, you couldn't find any other shortcomings here. Many rich people especially liked to come here for breakfast because the food here was really delicious. After Song Dong met the man in the trench coat again, he still didn't have a chance to see his face clearly. In addition to the trench coat and the baseball cap, he also wore a mask, so his face was not as clear as it was at night. But this time Song Nan, who came with Song Dong, didn't say anything. He had already seen the man's ability. After finding a seat and sitting down, Song Dong said politely, "Just order whatever you want. The food here is very delicious. Don't be shy. Pay the bill first, then talk." The man in the trench coat's answer was very simple. With the same action, he took out a portable POS machine from his pocket. Although it was a bit of a killjoy, Song Dong still paid the 1 million yuan as the man said. If he wanted to catch a big fish, of course, he couldn't care less about this small amount of money. After paying, Song Dong invited the man in the trench coat to order something he liked to eat. But the man in the trench coat just pointed at the mask on his mouth. "No need to eat. You said you still have something to do with me. What is it? Do you dare to kill a person?" Song Dong lowered his voice and said with a fierce expression, "I'm not a person who likes to beat around the bush. The person I want you to kill is not a good person. At least, he's much more powerful than Situ Xing and Iron Hammer, who I asked you to deal with yesterday. You can name a price. As long as you can do it, money is absolutely not a problem." The man in the trench coat was slightly stunned. After thinking for a while, he continued, "Then I have to see the person first before I can talk about the price. I'm not a person who asks for a price randomly." "Lao San, write down the address where you found that guy that day." Song Dong was more certain about this man in the trench coat. He must avenge this arrow. "As long as you can get rid of this person within 3 days, you can name any price." While speaking, Song Nan had already handed the note with Lin Shuero's address to the man in the trench coat. The man in the trench coat took the note, glanced at it, and burned it with a lighter. He said lightly, "You guys eat slowly. I'll contact you." After that, he directly turned and left the Heaven Building. Not to mention breakfast, he didn't even drink a sip of water. Chapter 536. Su Yun woke up early in the morning, but he had been lying on his bed the whole time. He felt that he couldn't wait any longer. If he didn't hear from Wan Guangxiao or Wang Yi today, he would barge into the main force and ask how he could join the mission to protect Turtle Island. Lin Shuero came to Su Yun's bedroom door after making breakfast. She knocked on the door twice and pushed it open. "Get up quickly. I'm going to school after breakfast." Are you going to stay at home to play? Or are you going to accompany me to school? Or are you going back to your place with my dad? Your dad is going today? Soo-yin was taken aback for a moment. She immediately perked up and sat up on the bed. She quickly put on her clothes and slippers and could not wait to find Lin Shuhai. Lin Shuero stopped him at the door. You're closer to my dad than you are to me. I was just speaking casually just now. I don't even know when my dad left, let alone if he went to your place. Don't be so excited. Get up and eat. You can go wherever you want after breakfast. Lin Shuhai left already? Soo-yin was stunned. Why didn't he hear anything? It seemed that Lin Shuhai had already guessed Soo-yin's thoughts. Perhaps he was really going to the Dragon Brigade, and was afraid that Soo-yin would insist on going with him. That was why he left so quietly. Soo-yin nodded and went downstairs to eat breakfast with Lin Shuero. Lin Shuero saw that he ate very quickly, and although she didn't say anything, she shook her head helplessly in her heart. She didn't know where his thoughts were. Sure enough, her father was right. If she wanted Soo-yin to be his son-in-law with peace of mind, she as his daughter would have to learn some advanced ways of seducing men. Otherwise, it would be too difficult. Halfway through breakfast, Soo-yin suddenly felt a murderous aura approaching. This feeling was especially strong. Ever since Soo-yin left the Dragon Brigade, his senses were much more sensitive than before. He didn't know if it was because of his cultivation. Be careful, Soo-yin said in a low voice. He quickly got up and pulled Lin Shuero behind him. Step by step, he walked carefully to the door of the room and whispered to her. No matter what happens, you must not go out. It seems that someone has come to make trouble for me. The strong killing intent Soo-yin felt made him very clear that the other party was definitely not an ordinary person. Naturally, it was impossible for the other party to come looking for him to have anything to do with Lin Shuero. Soo-yin froze for a moment. Could it be related to Green Ghost? After all, he couldn't be sure whether Green Ghost was dead or alive, and whether anyone knew about Guogua's secret was still an unknown mystery. Now that any kind of danger could come knocking on his door, Soo-yin had already made ample preparations. After comforting Lin Shuero's emotions, Soo-yin walked out of the door and went to the villa's courtyard. It was an indisputable fact that the other party was in the dark while he was in the light, so Soo-yin didn't need to deliberately hide anything. What would come would come. If he went out like this, the danger would only be concentrated on him alone. If he didn't go out, Lin Shuero would also share the same danger with him. In this case, Soo-yin would rather concentrate the danger on him alone. In this way, not only could he ensure Lin Shuero's safety, but he also didn't have to be distracted. But when Soo-yin really walked out of the door, the huge killing intent at the beginning suddenly disappeared unexpectedly. Just at the moment when Soo-yin hesitated, a familiar voice came into Soo-yin's ears from the roof of the villa. Brother Yun, I didn't expect that we would meet again under such circumstances. This person was none other than the man in the trench coat who got the address from Song Dong and came to investigate. Yuanbua? Soo-yin's expression was exaggerated to the extreme. He really didn't expect to meet the guy who had a life-and-death friendship with him in the mountains of the northeast border again. How could it be you? When did you come to Yinjing? When Soo-yin was the instructor of the Dragon Fury team, in order to find a more difficult field training place, he went to a cold primitive mountain forest on the northeast border alone. It was there that Yuanbua met Soo-yin. At that time, Yuanbua was still a standard local aboriginal. He was the bravest warrior guarding his people. It was a peaceful paradise. Although it was located in a cold place, there were no disputes. Everyone was happy and harmonious. It was as if they were living in a paradise. Back then, Soo-yin didn't mean to break into their paradise, so there was some friction with them. As the guardians of the local residents, the warriors naturally wouldn't allow outsiders to disturb their lives. At that time, Yuanbua led his warriors to a fierce battle with Soo-yin. Soo-yin couldn't believe that these people's physical fitness was so good. Although they were indigenous, the warriors led by Yuanbua were all masters with unique skills. In a head-on collision, Soo-yin couldn't be their opponent at all. Fortunately, Soo-yin was able to fully understand it with his own wisdom. Later, the misunderstanding was resolved. The smartest Yuanbua was able to communicate with Soo-yin to a certain extent. Because of the language barrier, most of the time, they communicated with their hands and mouths. In Su Yun's impression, Yuanbo was a rare person with a high IQ. He could learn to pronounce in a very short time. The name Yuanbo was also a Chinese name he gave himself. His real name was pronounced Kata Si Yuanbo in their language, so he named himself Yuanbo. Later, Su Yun stayed in that paradise for 15 days. During these 15 days, Yuanbo could already communicate with Su Yun in simple Chinese, and Su Yun also learned some local Aboriginal languages. Later, Su Yun arranged for the special training to be in this cold forest. During the special training, he came into contact with Yuanbo many times. Not only did he teach Yuanbo Chinese, but he also learned many local ways to restrain the cold. These experiences were very precious to Su Yun and the Brothers of Dragon's Fury. Over time, Yuanbo and Su Yun became good friends. Su Yun taught him how to use a calendar, and only then did he realize that this man, who looked much more mature than him, was actually younger than Su Yun. When Su Yun led the team away, Yuanbo and Su Yun worshipped the gods in their local way, drank 3 bowls of tiger whip liquor, and became sworn brothers. Although they hadn't seen each other for many years, Su Yun had never forgotten Yuanbo. He had once thought that when he had the chance, he would definitely take Guogua and everyone around him to that cold paradise to see Yuanbo. He really didn't expect Yuanbo to appear in Beijing. However, Su Yun clearly remembered that he had invited Yuanbo to come to Beijing to play, but Yuanbo had refused, saying that their ancestors had ancestral teachings that they couldn't leave their homeland casually. Could it be that something had happened to Yuanbo's appearance this time? Before Su Yun could ask, Yuanbo shook his head helplessly. I really have to thank the person who hired me to kill you. If it weren't for him, I'm afraid I wouldn't have been able to see you. Someone hired you to kill me? Su Yun was stunned for a moment. Wait, when did you become a killer? Why are you in Beijing? Did something happen in your hometown? Brother Yun, this is a long story. I'll explain it to you slowly. I'm going to see my employer now. Since he wants to kill you, I won't let him go easily. Yuanbo said. I'll explain it to you after I solve his problem. After that, Yuanbo called Song Dong and said that he had settled the matter and wanted to meet him at a place. Song Dong happily agreed to meet Yuanbo at an abandoned factory in the western suburbs. Perhaps he was dazzled by victory, so Song Dong didn't ask why they had to meet in such a remote place. After hanging up the phone, Yuanbo turned around and left without explaining to Su Yun. The people in their place ran barefoot all year round, fighting against the bad weather and wild beasts, so they had evolved to be more special than ordinary people. In addition, Yuanbo was the #1 warrior in the local area. His running ability was probably something that even a snow wolf couldn't catch up with. Su Yun couldn't stop him. He knew that he definitely couldn't catch up with him. Yuanbo's running wasn't just running. The way he ran with his hands and feet was the ultimate principle that he had comprehended from the running of wild animals. Ordinary people couldn't learn it. At least, Su Yun hadn't learned it. Yuanbo had made an appointment with someone in such a remote place. He must have wanted to kill him. For people like Yuanbo, who had some primitive aura, their way of understanding life was different. Su Yun was sure that Yuanbo would never let go of the person who wanted his life, because Yuanbo was his brother who had drunk 3 bowls of tiger whip liquor in front of the gods. Oh no, Su Yun had to stop Yuanbo from continuing like this. This was a city, not a primitive forest. This was not a place where he could kill casually. Regardless of how Yuanbo got on this road, at least now Su Yun wouldn't let him continue like this. Su Yun quickly returned to the room and grabbed the car key. Shuero, I have something urgent to do. I'll explain it to you later. Be careful on the way to school. Lin Shuero hurriedly said. Who was that? Hey, why don't you tell me clearly before you leave? What are you doing? Phew. What kind of messed up life do you have? Are you kidding me? I even applied for leave from school today so that I could stay at home with you for a day, but you... At this time, Su Yun had already started the red BMW and sped away. Yuanbo's legs were fast and tireless. He could only hope that there wouldn't be a special traffic jam on the way. Only then could he stop Yuanbo before he killed someone. Su Yun would never allow Yuanbo to walk the path of a killer, because his primitive thoughts were too strong. Unless he could be sent to the evil god's side like Lin Gu and be trained by the evil god in CFAIs. Only then could he be trained into a killer who really wouldn't kill innocent people. A killer who was worthy of existing in this society. Obviously, Yuanbo was walking on a path of no return. As long as he received money, he could kill anyone, regardless of the reason. This was something that Su Yin would never allow. The reason was very simple, because Yuanbo was his sworn brother. Su Yin would never allow his brother to become someone who couldn't distinguish between right and wrong in the world. Chapter 537. Inside the abandoned factory in the western suburbs, it was desolate, the vegetation was withered, and the surroundings were desolate. This old industrial area was about to be rebuilt into a new industrial park, and the bidding for this piece of land had reached the final and most critical moment. The abandoned factory was using its last moments to show the changes in social development over the years. Yuanbo's barefoot speed could instantly beat the speed of the champion of the Tour de France. Therefore, in this super-congested Yanjing city where the average speed was more than 20 miles per hour, no car could run faster than him barefoot, especially during this peak period. So he was the first to arrive at the agreed location. About 10 minutes later, Yuanbo saw an Audi A8 and an Aston Martin slowly appear. Soon, Yuanbo saw Song Dong again, who he had met this morning. To be honest, Song Dong and the two cousins who came with him were somewhat in disbelief, or perhaps in disbelief. It had only been less than an hour, and this matter had already been resolved? Killing people was not a small matter. Didn't they say they would meet first and talk about the price before making a move? How come they didn't even pay the deposit, and this person had already killed the person? After Song Shi stopped the car, he got out of the Audi with Song Dong, and Song Nan, who had driven alone, also got out. In this wilderness, Song Nan really had some goosebumps. He had a terrible thought, that the man in the trench coat in front of him had brought the body to them. Although the four Song brothers could be said to have committed all kinds of crimes in Yanjing City, and were so arrogant that they dared to cause trouble anywhere, they had never done such a thing as paying someone to kill someone. Before, they didn't think much of it, but now that they were facing a murderer who had really killed someone, they were more or less frightened. At least for now, Song Nan didn't have the desire to see the man in the trench coat clearly. He was worried that if he saw the other party's appearance, the other party would kill him to silence him. Just thinking about it made him tremble all over. I didn't expect you to solve this matter so quickly. I admire you. Song Dong forced a calm smile and said, "It's just that, about the price, we haven't talked about it before, right? Ha ha ha, brother, you're not asking for too much, are you?" Yuanbo stood coldly in front of the three of them, exuding a faint murderous aura. He said in a low voice, "You believe me when I say I took care of him?" Well, Song Dong was really stunned by this person's question. "You have some evidence to show me, right? Even if they didn't bring the corpse here, they should have at least taken some photos, right? Otherwise, I really don't know how to trust you." Yuanbo sneered. "There were no corpses or photos. Because I didn't do anything at all. You actually spent money to hire me to kill my sworn brother. You really have some guts." "What?" Song Dong's eyes suddenly widened. "Wait a minute. What do you mean?" "Brother. Brother Dong." He said that the man was his sworn brother. Song Shi was also completely dumbfounded. Wasn't this a misunderstanding? They were family. Looking at the momentum of the man in the trench coat, he was afraid that he had called them here not to ask for money, but to kill them. Song Nan had already begun to retreat. "Brother Dong, let's go." Song Dong also began to retreat. As he retreated, he pointed at Yuanbo and said, Okay, in that case our business can't be done, right? Then let's pretend that nothing happened. In the future, we won't interfere with each other's business. Let's not make things difficult for each other. After all, we've worked together. You don't really think you can leave, do you? Yuanbo's murderous aura was getting stronger and stronger. Song Dong suddenly roared, "Run!" He was the first to turn around and run quickly to the parking lot. Song Nan and Song Bei also turned around and began to run desperately. It wasn't that they didn't want to resist, it was because they felt fear and threat from the man in the trench coat that they had never felt before. Escape was the only thought in their minds at this moment. But could they really escape? Song Dong turned around and ran for more than 10 meters. But when he looked up, he saw Yuan Bo standing in front of them quietly waiting. He suddenly stopped and quickly turned around. The place where there had been people was now empty. This guy's speed was like a phantom. Song Dong's legs were completely soft. He usually acted like a tyrant and swaggered around. Everyone knew the status and ability of the Song family in Yanjing. But now, in the face of a madman, Song Dong lost all his advantages because the other party didn't care who he was at all. Like Song Dong, his two cousins were also dumbfounded. It seemed that there was only a dead end for them today. There was no other way for them to choose. Brother, I can give you anything you want. I'll give you as much money as you want. I'll give it to you immediately. Please let us go. Song Dong said. The three of us have bank cards. We can really give you all our money. Really? Yuan Bo was still expressionless. But what I want now is not money. What I want is your life. When his life was threatened, Song Nan, who was terrified to the extreme, suddenly exploded. He stood up with a roar and picked up a wooden stick on the ground. I'll fight you. I'd like to see what ability you have to take my life. Without waiting for Song Dong to stop him, Song Nan had already charged forward. Yuan Bo casually dodged Song Nan's swinging stick and chopped at Song Nan's left arm with a hand chop. With a terrifying cracking sound, Song Nan's arm appeared in a horribly bent state in front of Song Dong and Song Shi. Before Song Nan could howl in pain, Yuan Bo suddenly raised his foot and hit Song Nan's lower abdomen. Song Nan flew out and fell heavily to the ground. He didn't know how many ribs he had broken, but he was in so much pain that he couldn't even turn over. Seeing Song Nan's miserable appearance, Song Dong and Song Shi were even more frightened. They looked at each other and didn't know what to do. Yuan Bo sneered and walked towards them. The closer he was, the heavier their mood became. Suddenly, a red BMW roared over, disturbing Yuan Bo, who was about to make a move. Su Yin walked out of the car and shouted angrily, "Stop! What do you think this is? This is a society that pays attention to the law. You can't mess around. Come here." Yuan Bo still respected Su Yin very much. He basically treated Su Yin's words as the truth, so even if he could have slapped him, he abruptly took it back. Su Yin closed the car door and walked towards them. Seeing that the people who wanted to kill him were actually the brothers of the Song family, he really felt that it was ridiculous. Is it because my appearance caused you to lose to Fu Tian? Is that why you hate me so much? But this matter has nothing to do with me. It's you who are shameless. 4 against 1, only cowards would do this. I can pretend that nothing happened today, but you'd better take care of yourselves. Next time, I won't let you go so easily. Brother Yin, yesterday they asked me to set fire to the Soho bar and hurt the bar owner, Situ Xing, and a man named Iron Hammer. Yuan Bo said, "Do you want to settle this account with them?" Su Yin frowned and pointed at Song Dong fiercely. "Do you think that Situ Xing won't guess that it was you who did it? They were the ones who hit my fourth brother first." Song Dong still made a final argument. "If Iron Hammer didn't beat my fourth brother until his head was full of blood, I wouldn't have asked someone to take revenge on them. Even if someone is to blame, it's them who started it first." If Song Dong had said this a few years ago, Su Yin would have had reason to suspect that Situ Xing started it first. But now Situ Xing was definitely not the Situ Xing of the past. Without Situ Xing's order, Iron Hammer would never hurt people casually. So if Iron Hammer hit people, there was obviously a reason. Then you must have said something you shouldn't have said to him, and asked him something you shouldn't have asked, right? Su Yin said sternly, "Don't think that I'm a good person just because I'm talking to you nicely. Yuan Bo, deal with this guy the same way you hurt Situ Xing yesterday." As soon as Su Yin's voice fell, Yuan Bo threw Song Dong to the ground with a whip kick. Just as Song Dong cried out in pain, Yuan Bo's legs suddenly clamped Song Dong's left arm. With a crack, his entire shoulder blade was twisted. The sudden sharp pain made Song Dong's vision go black, and he fell heavily to the ground. Seeing the miserable scene in front of him, Song Dong cried with snot and tears. The two people on his left and right were miserable like this. It seemed that he couldn't escape from this devil's clutches. He might as well close his eyes and wait for death. They didn't expect that Situ Xing was right. The person in front of them was really someone they couldn't afford to offend. Even the killers they hired betrayed them and listened to him. They were not at the same level as him. There was no shortage of talents in the circle of rich people in Yanjing. If you don't even respect your seniors, you'll never be able to stand out in the future. Su Yun, I'll give you a chance to live. Go to the hospital on behalf of your brothers and apologize to Brother De Xing. In the future, don't always think about playing tricks on Fu Tian. Fu Tian is my little brother. You'd better remember my name, Su Yun. Song Shi's head nodded like a kowtowing bug. Ever since Su Yun spoke, he hadn't stopped. As long as they were willing to let him go now, he was willing to do anything. He would rather work like an ox or a horse for Fu Tian than have his bones broken in the future. Brother Yin, they wanted to kill you. Are you going to let them go so easily? Yuan Bo didn't understand why Su Yun was so generous. If you let them go today, maybe they'll find someone to hurt you tomorrow. Su Yun smiled slightly. Even you don't dare to do anything to me. Who do you think they can find? If anything happens to me recently, even if I don't say anything, you'll skin them with your own hands, won't you? That's for sure. Yuan Bo said fiercely. I've skinned tigers, wolves, and bears in my life, but I've never skinned humans. Chapter 538. Su Yun didn't have the time to waste on them, so he urged Yuan Bo to leave with him. For a person like Yuan Bo who loved his race and homeland, he must have a very special reason for leaving that place. And now, Yuan Bo had embarked on such a bloodthirsty path. If so, Su Yun would rather he stay in their homeland for the rest of his life. At least there was no such pale and naked killing in that place. Although Yuan Bo didn't understand why Su Yun would let go of these people who were a threat to him, he didn't ask any more questions. If it were him, he would definitely not let go of these hidden dangers that were a threat to him. It was just like dealing with a 400-pound wild boar in the forest. He would never give the wild boar a chance to breathe. As long as he caught it, he would have to kill it. If he let it go, it would only leave him with more hidden threats. Who knew when this beast would suddenly appear and attack him? Although Yuan Bo had mastered many modern technological tools with his high IQ, his thoughts deep in his heart were not so easy to change. What Su Yun had to do was to make Yuan Bo clearly understand the difference between humans and animals. He could hunt down the prey he needed in the forest because as a human, he stood at the top of the food chain. What he faced were ferocious beasts. If he didn't kill them, they would eat him instead. This was obviously a completely different situation from the coexistence in human society. The coexistence between humans was definitely not the same as the coexistence between humans and beasts. As a human who conquered all species with intelligence, he definitely couldn't treat his own kind like animals. Yuan Bo obviously didn't understand this problem. Although he was already in the big city of Yanjing, he hadn't really integrated into the circle of people. Su Yun knew very well that a person like Yuan Bo was a huge hidden danger in the city. This was because while he had human intelligence, he also had the terrifying beast strength and explosive power that other humans didn't have. Yuan Bo, who dealt with beasts all day long, only understood one truth. This truth was the truth of the jungle. The strong preyed on the weak. This was the only unchangeable truth in Yuan Bo's heart for so many years. How long have you been in Yanjing? Su Yun asked as he drove. Where do you live now? Did you come out by yourself, or with your people? Brother Yin, I don't know how to tell you. Yuan Bo sighed heavily. I've been in Yanjing for a year. I rented a house in Blue Mountain View Garden, and I'm the only one here. At this moment, Su Yun's phone rang, and Yuan Bo immediately stopped talking. Su Yun glanced at it, and saw that it was Wang Yi calling. His heart surged. While rushing to Blue Mountain Scenic Garden, he picked up the phone and went straight to the point. Master, does the main force want me to go back and lead the team to carry out this mission? Are you that excited to carry out this mission? Wang Yi smiled faintly. He knew that Su Yun was an impatient person, so he was prepared and was not frightened by his sudden outburst. I have good news for you now. The level 1 red alert has been cancelled. You don't have to worry about it anymore. Cancelled? This was a bit too fast. Su Yun could not believe it. He said suspiciously, Old man, you're not lying to me, are you? If the main force doesn't agree to let me go, I won't go. You don't have to make up such a lie to fool me, right? How can level 1 red alert be cancelled so easily? Wang Yi spat. You little rascal, you'd better be careful if you're so rude. Do I have to lie to you? The Japanese's Hitsuka Special Forces were already too busy in the country, let alone going to Turtle Island in the East China Sea to look for trouble. Therefore, the level 1 red alert has been cancelled. After discussion, we've decided to arrange for Mad Dragon of the Dragon Prestige team to lead a team of 12 special forces to secretly investigate Turtle Island. Everyone else is to cancel the level 1 red alert. What did that mean? What did it mean that the Black Tomb special forces were too busy in China? What exactly happened in Japan? Could it be that Q alone could overturn the seas and rivers? Suyin was really shocked. This was too exaggerated. Although he was sure that CFAIs had sneaked into Japan, he didn't expect him to be so capable. Wang Yi smiled faintly. I heard that CFAIs and the other brats taught by the evil god aren't the only ones who caused trouble for the Japanese cabinet. There's also the Wolf Fang mercenary team led by the Wolf King. Ha ha ha, the Japanese cabinet must be in a mess now. Suyin clenched his fists. If it wasn't for the fact that the Dragon's Fury special forces were organized and disciplined, and had to obey the country's sharp blades, he really wanted to bring his brothers to Japan and directly join forces with CFAIs and Wolf King to completely destroy the Japanese cabinet. His hands were itching, really itching. At this time, an idea popped up in Su Yun's mind. Since he was no longer a member of Dragon's Fury, why didn't he set up his own organization? With the people he could use now, it would be a large fighting force. This way, if there was anything that the Divine Dragon Brigade couldn't do due to the country's orders, he could ask Qianfeng and the others to help inquire about it. He didn't have to worry about so many rules. So you don't have to worry anymore. Live your life well. Wang Yi smiled faintly and said, Oh right, there's one more thing I want to remind you. In order to save you, Beauty Yu is willing to give up everything. You have to remember this firmly in your heart. No matter when or what happens, you can't forget her. Old man, stop pretending to be a good person. If you really want me to be responsible for you, Marin, write her a letter now and ask her to retire from the army. I'll take care of everything else. Suyin, do you dare? Wang Yi clicked his tongue. Don't provoke me. Now is not the time for her to leave the army. But I can guarantee that day will come sooner or later. Suyin was just joking. He knew how important Yu Marin was to the entire Dragon Brigade. I also know that day will come sooner or later. I hope that when the day comes, I won't be as old as you. Stop joking. Wang Yi said. How is your stay in Linshihai? His precious daughter didn't force you to marry her, did she? If it weren't for the fact that Su Yin respected Wang Yi very much since he was young, he would have already raised his middle finger and cursed. If it weren't for Wang Yi agreeing to Lin Shihai's boring request, he wouldn't have owed Lin Shuero an emotional debt. One could owe anything but feelings. This was such a simple principle. He really didn't know how to repay the feelings that Su Yin owed him. He couldn't repay it at all. Isn't this all your fault? You still have the nerve to mention this to me? Let me tell you, I'm not done with you. Before Su Yin could finish his sentence, Wang Yi hung up the phone. He didn't want to hear Su Yin flip out. Su Yin hung up the phone, and could only helplessly stuff it into his pocket. Su Yun's heart suddenly felt empty. To be honest, he was a little disappointed. If he really had to lead a team to Turtle Island, he swore that he would definitely beat the Japanese pirates until they begged for mercy. The more Su Yin thought about it, the more excited he became. He realized that it was really urgent for him to establish his own team. At this time, the car also arrived at the entrance of Blue Mountain View Garden. Under Yuanbo's lead, Su Yin and Yuanbo arrived at the rental house he lived in. There were 2 bedrooms and a living room, about 80 to 90 square meters. He lived alone. Brother Yin, take a seat. I'll get you some water. Yuanbo still maintained his hospitality. Do you like hot tea or cold beer? You don't have to be so busy. Sit down first and tell me your story. Why are you in Yanjing? Su Yin. I remember when I invited you. You said that your ancestors had a rule that your people were not allowed to enter the mountains casually. Now that you're in Yanjing, Aren't you afraid of being punished by your ancestors? Yuan Bo's face suddenly sank. His expression was as if he had lost his soul. That kind of loss was definitely not something that could be described with words. Su Yin knew that his words must have stimulated Yuan Bo's untouchable pain. But what was the reason for this? The more Yuan Bo was like this, the more curious Su Yin became. What happened? I'm already a person spurned by my ancestors and gods. Yuan Bo took a deep breath. His expression was solemn and desolate. He must be suffering in his heart. Otherwise, no one would look so miserable. I no longer have the face to stay in that homeland, and I no longer have the face to go back and face my ancestors. For a person who lived in that land and had little contact with the outside world, being spurned by his ancestors and gods was the worst sin. It was an absolutely unforgivable mistake. Su Yin found it hard to think about what Yuan Bo had done wrong, and he could only expect Yuan Bo to tell him this question himself. Yuan Bo, no matter what you've done, you can't do this kind of killing to make money when you come to the city. Su Yin said. A killer also has a killer's way. If you do this kind of thing again, then you are no different from a walking corpse. Whether or not you are spurned by your clansmen, you have to live a meaningful life, not without a goal. Brother Yin, I'm doing all this for my people. I need to make more money. Yuan Bo said in annoyance. It's all because of me. If it weren't for me, my people wouldn't have suffered such a disaster. I did something that no one can forgive, and I can't forgive myself either. So I have to redeem myself. I have to make more money to make up for the mistakes I've made. Su Yin knew that Yuan Bo could open his heart to him. He encouraged him. What unforgivable thing did you do? You can tell me. I can help you. Yuan Bo, believe me, I can help you. Because you and I are brothers who have drunk 3 bowls of tiger whip wine. Brother. That's right. Chapter 539. Ever since Yuan Bo met Su Yin and his Dragon Fury Team brothers in that cold paradise, he began to yearn for the world outside the world he lived in. After Su Yin left, he had the urge to come out and see the world many times. However, due to the ancestral teachings, Yuan Bo did not really step out of that land. Every time his heart itched, he would only walk out of the paradise, step through the wind and snow, and look into the distance to fantasize. The city scenes that Su Yin had mentioned were still vivid in his mind. Yuan Bo began to fantasize about being in the city, feeling the tall buildings and cars coming and going. That feeling was wonderful for him at that time. At that moment, a few fierce off-road vehicles passed through the wind and snow and arrived beside Yuan Bo. If it was in the past, Yuan Bo would have hidden when he saw these steel monsters. However, he had already learned what a car was through Su Yin, so he was no longer afraid of these steel monsters. When the people in the car saw Yuan Bo, they were also very surprised. In this kind of snowy weather, there was actually a person wearing such thin clothes. At that time, Yuan Bo was only wrapped in a piece of wolf skin. He was already used to the temperature of his homeland. This kind of snowy weather was also the most common weather for him, so he did not feel cold at all, nor did he feel afraid. It was no longer the first time Yuan Bo had met a stranger. He had become sworn brothers with Su Yin and talked and laughed with all the brothers in the Dragon's Fury Special Forces every day. So he didn't know what it meant to be sinister in the world. At that time, in Yuan Bo's mind, everyone was like Su Yin and the others. They were all friendly, kind, and enthusiastic. They could all become brothers and friends with him. More than 20 people got out of the off-road vehicles, each of them holding guns and weapons in their hands. They wore thick leather hats, wrapped in tight scarves, and had leather boots and gloves. Every one of them was fully armed. This outfit was definitely better than the Dragon Fury team led by Su Yin back then. Yuan Bo took the initiative to greet them, but he was surrounded by a group of people with guns. These people did not seem friendly. When they saw Yuan Bo's expression, each one was weirder than the other. Hearing Yuan Bo speak, these people were even more shocked. The leader of the group was overjoyed. He immediately ordered everyone to put down their weapons and chatted with Yuan Bo with a smile. Seeing the other parties smile, Yuan Bo was honest. In his mind, all smiles were friendly. He had no idea what sinister was. This was because Su Yin and everyone in the Dragon Fury team had only taught him what honesty was, what friendliness was, and what affection was. Yuanbo, on the other hand, did not know what sinister, purposeful, what use, terror, and threats were. Yuanbo clearly remembered that the leader had asked him about a place that Yuanbo had never heard of before. It was a place called Latitude and Longitude or something like that. Yuanbo's ignorance seemed to make the leader very angry, but he didn't get angry. At that time, the sky had already darkened, and the blizzard was about to strike again. There was only one way for this group of people to go, and that was to return the way they came, avoid the blizzard, and wait until the next day to find the place they were looking for. However, the kind Yuanbo gave them a second choice. They could return to his tribe with him, rest in his tribe, and look for the place they were going the next day. This was because Yuanbo's tribe was a blessed land. In this cold world, this was the only place where they would never have to worry about the blizzard. This was the charm of nature. When you were still surrounded by wind and snow, you could no longer feel the bone-piercing cold after passing through a forest. For Yuanbo and the others, the place they lived in was given to them by the gods, so they believed in the gods and were grateful to them. This was heaven for a group of people who had been here more than 20 times. If they returned the way they came, they would only be able to reach this place the next time they came. Now, under Yuanbo's lead, they had accidentally discovered this place full of magic power. There was actually such a place in the world of ice and snow. It was no different from finding a beautiful oasis in the Taklamakan Desert. Yuanbo and his people were very hospitable, especially after making friends with Su Yin and the others. These kind people thought that everyone was kind, and that all humans were friends. They entertained them with the best tiger whip wine, and roasted the best bear paws and wild boar meat. Among this group of people, only Yuanbo could communicate with them in fluent Chinese, which made them very curious. They chatted a lot with Yuanbo that night, and learned that they were a race that had lived here for thousands of years. They were the Packer people. Later, Su Yin gave them a more appropriate name, the Snow Clan. Of course, Yuanbo did not mention this to these people. He said that he was a warrior of the Packer people, a warrior who protected their homeland. They lived by hunting, and they lived freely here, more carefree than anyone else. When Yuanbo talked about all this again, he did not notice that the leader of this group had been staring at the GPS locator in his hand. This group of people had a nice name, an archaeological expedition, but what they were actually doing was the most shameful thing. This land was the place they had been looking for. There was a huge amount of wealth and treasures buried here that the world did not know about. Perhaps, even if the world knew about it, no one would be able to find this place. Even a professional team like them had run more than 20 times in vain. Originally, they didn't plan to come again since they failed again this time. And it was this last time that they met Yuanbo. It was as if this was something that had been predestined. It was destined that this group of people would meet Yuanbo for the last time. And Yuanbo had accidentally brought this group of people with human faces and beast hearts into his own clan. And the homeland they lived in was a place where huge wealth and treasures were buried. There were rare jade here, and this kind of jade could no longer be found in the world. And this group of people found this place with a geological exploration map from 100 years ago. This so-called archaeological expedition was actually a branch of an evil group. They specialized in stealing nature's treasures. That night, everyone in the Packer clan drank themselves into a drunken stupor in order to get to know their new friends. Their wine was also strong, and this group of sneaky people obviously did not drink it. They either secretly poured it away or pretended to drink it and spit it out. That night, the leader of this team led people to explore through the night, and finally determined that the rare jade was buried under this land. But the hardness of this land was beyond their expectations. Even if they only dug a few dozen meters down, it was not something that could be done overnight. If they did not use explosives, it would easily cause an avalanche, so they could only rely on manpower to dig. They needed labor, and the Parkle clan became a ready-made labor force. For this group of people who did all kinds of evil, they did not care about how great of a sin it was to repay kindness with enmity. They only knew that as long as they needed, they could do anything they wanted, including using, betraying, or threatening. Yuan Bo could not believe that the moment he woke up, the entire clan had undergone an earth-shattering change. These people he had brought back to the clan had actually controlled all the elderly, women, and children in his clan. They had actually tried to use this method to control the men and warriors in his clan to do things according to their wishes. In the beginning, the warriors and men of the Parkle clan would naturally resist, and this group of demons would actually kill the elderly, women, and children of their clan. This behavior completely controlled them. Even Yuan Bo did not know how to resist. He tried to take the lead in struggling, but those people killed his mother and sister without hesitation. All of this dealt a huge blow to Yuan Bo. Even though he had suffered such a heavy blow, his clansmen still hated him. Everyone knew that he was the one who brought this group of people into the clan. Yuan Bo was the one who brought the disaster in, so he was despised by his clansmen. The clansmen said that the gods and ancestors would abandon him. Soon after, the disaster truly began. All the people whose families were controlled became coolies. They began to dig day and night according to the orders of this group of people in the clan. The hard ground could only be dug to a height that could not be seen with the naked eye every day. However, everyone could only do this. If they did not, it meant that their parents, wives, and children would not be able to get food. All the Parkle clan members were controlled. Only Yuan Bo, who had no family, did not need to be controlled. He wanted to resist, but the guns in the other party's hands did not have eyes. He could guarantee that he would kill 5 or even 10 of them, but he could not guarantee that he would kill all of them. Furthermore, some of his clansmen were being controlled. He would not cause more deaths because of his impulsiveness. No matter how Yuan Bo begged, these human-faced beasts did not agree to let everyone go. Later, the leader gave Yuan Bo a price. As long as Yuan Bo could get him 100 million, he would return his clansmen to him. Therefore, Yuan Bo came to Yanjing and did this kind of killing for wealth under the guidance of those people. However, all of this was a conspiracy. Yuan Bo did not know that even if he obtained 100 million, the other party would not abide by the agreement, because the wealth under that land was far more than 100 million. Once all the wealth under that land was excavated, it would be worth more than 1 billion or 10 billion, or even more. Yuan Bo, who was not scheming, began to work hard to accumulate this 100 million worth of wealth. Obviously, the path they had given him was indeed a way to accumulate wealth quickly. Yuan Bo quickly became a killer with a small net worth. He was now only a short distance away from 100 million worth of wealth. Chapter 540. Yuan Bo still foolishly believed that as long as he saved up 100 million, he would be able to redeem his people and homeland from those people. He placed all his hopes on the money. He wanted to use this method to atone for his sins. Yuan Bo believed that only by redeeming all his clansmen could he wash away the grave sin of bringing that group of people into the tribe. You have to stop right now. As a brother, Suyin had to stand up and explain everything to Yuan Bo. Not to mention 100 million. Even if you get 1 billion, or even 10 billion, they still won't let go of your people. This group of people will give up their human souls for money, which means that they have completely lost their humanity. There is only desire and interest left in their eyes. No matter how much you give them, they will still dig out all the rare jade buried under your homeland before they give up. Do you understand what I mean? It's not your fault. It's their fault. Their goal is not to control you, but those precious jade. They don't control your people to make you money for them. It's still those precious jade. Yuan Bo, you've been used. Yuan Bo looked very shocked. No one had ever said such a thing to him. He had always thought that the fault lay with him. He had never thought that all of this would happen today. It was a mistake made by the group of people who forced him to do this. His kindness and innocence had become a weakness that had been used by others. For so many days, Yuan Bo had been like a machine that had been programmed by others. He only knew how to make money desperately and earn enough money to save his people, but he had never thought that everything he had done would end up in vain. Their goal is the jade under our homeland. Yuan Bo was stunned for a long time. He had heard many legends about the land under the land from the warriors of the older generation, since he was a child. Under the land they lived in, there was a special substance that was not found anywhere else. It It was because of these things that their homeland could always exist in this cold ice and snow, allowing them to survive. Without the magical substance under the land of their homeland, they would no longer be able to survive in this snowy weather. Thinking of this, Yuanbo suddenly realized what a stupid and terrifying thing he had done. If those outsiders took away all the jade from their land, it would mean that their people would no longer be able to live in their homeland. Their homeland would disappear forever, no longer existing in this world. No, he would not allow such a thing to happen. As a warrior of the Parkle clan, if he allowed the Parkle clan to be destroyed by his hands, he would not be able to face his ancestors in the underworld. He would become the most sinful clansman in the history of the Packer clan. Once this hat was worn, it meant that there would be no peace for the rest of his life. Su Yin could tell that Yuanbo was a little agitated. He seemed to have never considered these problems. After facing these problems today, he realized how stupid he was. But even if he knew his own stupidity now, what could he do? All of his clansmen were in the hands of the other party. He had no way to fight against those who had weapons in their hands. He did not want any more of his clansmen to die because of him. So now, Yuanbo did not even know how to resist. He had worked so hard to earn the money. He had thought that he could save his clan, but now it had become a useless piece of paper. This kind of loss was hard for ordinary people to bear. Yuanbo had suffered a huge blow to his heart. Su Yin understood his current feelings very well. The things that Yuanbo wanted to protect were being persecuted, and everything he did could not stop all of this. Any man with courage would find it difficult to control himself when faced with such a heavy blow. It was already very rare for Yuanbo to be able to control his murderous heart. Brother Yin, what should I do? I want to save my clansmen. I want to take back my homeland. Yuanbo said. But I really don't know what to do. I beg you to help me. Help me save my clansmen. All of the ancestors of the Parkle clan will bless you from the heavens. I really need your help. Su Yin patted Yuanbo on the shoulder. Even if you don't ask, I will help you all the same. Because you and I are brothers. We have drunk, kowtowed and sworn brothers. And all of the Parkle clan are my friends. You have taken care of me before. Now is the time for me to repay your kindness. Yuanbo suddenly fell to his knees in front of Su Yin. Brother Yin, Yuanbo is very grateful. I am willing to be your slave for the rest of my life. Su Yin smiled bitterly and helplessly. He pulled Yuanbo up from the ground. I don't need you to be my slave. I just need you to be my brother. Tell me about those people. There is an old saying in China. Know thyself and know thy enemy, and you will be victorious in every battle. Yuanbo nodded thoughtfully. There are about 25 to 28 of them. They are well armed, just like the brothers of the Dragon Fury team you brought with you back then. And they are all very skilled. They kill without blinking. By the way, they all have the same symbol on their clothes. As he spoke, Yuanbo found a pen and paper and laid it flat on the table. He picked up the pen and drew a symbol awkwardly. The symbol was a venomous snake that had been pierced by a sharp blade. The snake was not dead. Instead, it had its eyes wide open and was spitting out its venomous tongue. Because of Yuanbo's race, they did not have words, so they were born with an advantage in drawing. That was why their drawings were so vivid. It was such a symbol. Yuanbo said, a snake that has been killed. To Su Yin, this was obviously the symbol of a combat team. It was just like the symbol of the Dragon Fury team, which was an angry soaring dragon. As the captain of the Dragon Fury team, Su Yin naturally knew the symbol of most of the special forces or mercenaries in the world. There were a few totems related to snakes, but they were mainly snakes. However, this symbol was killing a snake. This symbol was very unfamiliar. Su Yin had never seen it before. But this was definitely not what Yuanbo said. If a snake was killed, it would not open its eyes wide and spit out its venomous tongue. There must be something fishy about this. Although the matter is urgent now, we can't rush it. Su Yin said lightly. At least let me know who these people are first. Then we can make plans. At this moment, Su Yin already had the idea of forming his own team. Before, he was just thinking about it. This time, he could test what kind of combat power he could form. Although it was impossible for the Brothers of Dragon's Fury to help him in this situation, Su Yin was not worried that there would be no one available. At least Sui Yeming, Wu Yuandong, Wang Zhe, Zhang Wenning, and Zhang Yongliang could be recruited at any time. Moreover, Zhou Meiyan, Chou Yun, and Lin Gu were all powerful warriors. In addition to these masters, Su Yin also had a group of brothers who were not afraid of anything. Chang, Kongzhong, Lu Feng, Dan Hongning, Shanzi, and Dan Jiahao were all good. Therefore, Su Yin was confident that he could handle it. However, judging from the current situation, Su Yin knew nothing about the other party. Because his people were controlled, Yuan Bo had not really fought with them, so he could not judge the strength of the other party. There must be great danger in taking risks. Now he needed to know who the other party was. Su Yin folded the piece of paper that Yuan Bo had drawn and put it in his pocket. This might be the only clue. From today onwards, you have to listen to me in all your actions. If you want to redeem yourself for your mistakes, then don't act rashly. Since I promised you, I will help you save your home, save your people, and help you redeem all the mistakes you have made. Yes, from today onwards, I will listen to Brother Yun's arrangements. Yuan Bo nodded heavily. He was like a drowning man who had grabbed the last straw. He was ecstatic but also treading on thin ice. Su Yin smiled and patted Yuan Bo on the shoulder. Don't worry too much. There will always be a solution. Wait for my news at home. I have some things to prepare first. Brother, what can I do to help? Yuan Bo naturally could not sit still. He hoped that he could participate in everything Su Yin did. Perhaps only in this way could he be completely comforted. He waited quietly. Su Yin, as long as you can do this, it will be considered as helping me. Oh, by the way, will there people be watching you when you do these things here? If you notice anything, then find a way to deal with it yourself. It's best to do it without leaving any traces. Don't alert the enemy. Yuan Bo really admired Su Yin. Someone was indeed watching him, but Yuan Bo had already given up resisting. Even if he knew that someone was watching him, he pretended not to know. Therefore, the people who were watching him seemed to have relaxed a long time ago. It would be too easy to deal with the people who were watching him. I promised to complete the mission. Yuan Bo saluted. His actions were all learned from Su Yin after he brought the Dragon Fury team into the mountains. Seeing Yuan Bo's action, Su Yin fell into deep self-blame. If he hadn't barged into Yuan Bo's life back then, perhaps they would still be living in peace. If he hadn't let Yuan Bo know too much about the outside world and learn Mandarin, perhaps Yuan Bo wouldn't have brought those people with ulterior motives to the Holy Land where they lived. Everything went back to the beginning. Su Yin felt that all of this was his fault, so he had to make up for it. He had to let those who broke into the lives of Yuan Bo and his people get the retribution they deserved. Thinking about those poor people who were being coerced and coerced by outsiders, doing the things they did not want to do the most for their families, and destroying their homes, their holy land for the people they loved. Just thinking about it made one's heart ache. Chapter 541. After Su Yin left Yuan Bo's rented house, he didn't rush to gather the people he could use. Instead, he directly contacted Lin Shihai and asked him to confirm whether the information given by Wang Yi was true or false. After confirming that level 1 combat readiness had been lifted, Su Yin was completely relieved. He didn't feel too disappointed. After all, Su Yin never imagined that he could rely on this matter to return to Dragon's Fury. If he couldn't go back, there was no need to force it. After returning to the Lin family, Lin Shuero was naturally wherever Su Yin was. As long as Su Yin was there, she almost never left his side. After dinner, Su Yin inadvertently saw a series of books about archaeology on the bookshelf in Lin Shuero's study, and his interest was immediately piqued. Shuero, what major did you specialize in? Su Yin suddenly asked. He couldn't help but open the glass door of the bookshelf and take a few archaeology books. Archaeology? Then you must know these things very well. There must be a lot of old professors at Yenjing University. I majored in economics. Lin Shuero said, it's just that I'm interested in archaeology, so I took it as an elective. Although I'm not proficient, I still know a little. At first, Su Yin was a little disappointed, But when he heard Lin Xuero say that she knew a little, his heart surged again. He quickly pulled Lin Xuero to sit down, then quickly opened the map search on the computer, and quickly locked onto the primitive forest covered with ice and snow where Yuan Bo's hometown was located. Su Yin asked expectantly, "Have you heard the story about this place? Is there any treasure on this land? You must know how to read feng shui. This is not difficult for you. Come on. Do you think I'm a feng shui master who can see a treasure land just by looking at the computer map?" Lin Xuero said speechlessly. "First, there are legendary stories everywhere, but the credibility is basically zero. Second, those who can see the dragon vein or treasure land at a glance are all people who exist in novels. Even a real feng shui master can only see it when he goes to the place. Third, the question you asked me is completely out of my control. I'm afraid that in the entire Yenjing University, only Professor Lu can give you an explanation." "Professor Lu is an expert?" Su Yun's eyes lit up. As long as there was hope, it was fine. Lin Xuero nodded and said, "Well, you can say that. He is an expert who specializes in northeastern China. That's why I said that if you ask this question, I'm afraid only he can answer it. Of course, I'm just guessing. It's also very likely that you asked a particularly idiotic question. Professor Lu wouldn't even care about such a low-level question. People who studied archaeology must be proficient in history. If they could really be called masters and professors, they would definitely know more than ordinary people. Take me to Professor Lu." Su Yin suddenly blurted out this sentence. "Are you alright? Why are you suddenly so interested in archaeology?" Lin Xuero rolled her eyes. "Don't tell me you found a treasure map and are going on a treasure hunt. Don't make a mistake. Don't make a child made to make a child." Lin Xuero was to ask Lin was to make a child. To make a Xuero to make Xuero to ask Feng to ask Lin Feng to ask Ding Xuero to ask Lin to ask Lin asked Feng Shui. Lin Xuero took the opportunity to threaten him. "What do you want?" Su Yin laughed dryly. Lin Xuero pointed at her face and said, "Kiss me." Su Yin exclaimed, "I thought you were going to make a big request. Not to mention once, even twice will do." It wasn't like he hadn't kissed her before. Su Yin wasn't afraid that this wouldn't work. He directly went forward and kissed Lin Xuero's face. The first time he kissed Lin Xuero's face was probably on her birthday. Su Yin asked her what she wanted as a gift. She didn't want anything. She just pointed at her face and asked Su Yin to express his gratitude. At that time, Su Yin was indeed a little embarrassed, but after the previous experience, Su Yin was much more natural this time. Lin Xuero seemed to be very easy to satisfy. Su Yin was easily done, so she directly picked up the key and brought Su Yin out. As one of the best students in Yenjing University, Lin Xuero had a good relationship with these teachers and professors. Especially for the subjects she liked and was interested in, the teacher-student relationship was more like that of a student. Professor Lu also appreciated Lin Xuero a lot. His wife, Professor Peng, also often praised Lin Xuero. It could be said that this old couple who had dedicated their lives to Yenjing University liked Lin Xuero very much. Lin Xuero was also invited to his house several times, so she remembered Professor Lu's house very clearly. The two bought a few health supplements for the elderly and soon drove to Professor Lu's house. Under Lin Xuero's lead, the two knocked on Professor Lu's door. "Oh honey, come here, see who's here." Professor Peng was very happy to see Lin Xuero. "Child, we are very happy that you can come to play. Why are you taking things again? I don't like it." "Professor Peng, this is a little gift from me. You must pay attention to your health when you are old." Lin Xuero giggled. At this time, Professor Lu also ran out of the study. When he saw Lin Xuero, he hurriedly said, "Come in, child. It's cold outside. Don't catch a cold. Your Auntie Peng is right. If you come to play in the future and take things again, we will be angry." After Lin Xuero walked into the room, Su Yin also appeared behind her. When they suddenly saw another person, Professor Lu and his wife were stunned for a moment, and then the smile on their faces became more overflowing. Especially Professor Peng with a kind smile on her face. "Child, why didn't you tell me in advance that you brought your boyfriend here? You really want to give us a big surprise. Ha 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 ha, young man, come in, come in. Professor Lu saw that Su Yin was talented, handsome and energetic, so he naturally admired him. Since Lin Xuero entered Yenjing University and took archaeology as an elective, he had been very optimistic about Lin Xuero, so he was also very concerned about her love life. He didn't expect that such a talented woman would finally be conquered. Su Yin, this is Professor Lu, and this is his wife, Professor Peng. They are both old professors of Yenjing University, and have dedicated their lives to the education of Huaxia. Lin Xuero's sweet mouth made the two old people smile from ear to ear. Su Yin greeted them one after another, and walked into the room. Xuero, why did you come to my place so late? Don't tell me you just want to show off your boyfriend? After they sat down, Professor Lu chatted and laughed. At this time, Professor Peng was also busy making tea and washing fruits. He was very enthusiastic. Lin Xuero never denied it. It could be seen that she especially enjoyed the title of Su Yin being her boyfriend. Professor Lu, I really didn't want to come today. It was Su Yin who insisted on coming to see you. He heard from me that you are an expert in the archaeology of the northeast of Huaxia, so he insisted that I bring him here to visit. Oh, in that case, little Su also likes archaeology very much? Professor Lu smiled slightly. Haha, yes, I have read some novels about tomb raiding in the past few years. Haha, so I am especially interested in archaeology. Su Yin also smiled slightly. Professor Lu laughed twice. Those novels are made up out of thin air. There is no scientific basis at all. Real archaeology has nothing to do with those fictional things. Little Su, if you really want to understand archaeology, you can't be led astray by those fictional novels. Actually, I think those novels are quite interesting. Whether it is true or not, it is exciting. Su Yin said. I came here today because I have something to ask Professor Lu about the Northeast. Professor Lu was startled. Is it a story in a novel? Of course not. Su Yin smiled and shook his head. I wonder if Professor Lu has a map at home. Come, please follow me to the study. Professor Lu said and stood up. Su Yin also stood up and walked behind him. Seeing the two leave, Professor Peng held Lin Xuero's hand and said, Xuero, you have good taste. Auntie thinks that this young man must be very good. Otherwise, how could he have captured your heart? Come tell Auntie, how did you two meet? Is this young man also a student of Yenjing University? He is not a student of Yenjing University. Lin Xuero said. He, Professor Peng, don't ask him. He is embarrassed. Oh, such a talented young man. If he is not a student of Yenjing University, then he must be from Huaqing University. Professor Peng had deep feelings for Yenjing University, so she especially hoped that all the talents were in Yenjing. If Huaqing University took them away, she would feel disappointed. What else could Lin Xuero say? She could only shake her head helplessly. Su Yin and Professor Lu walked to the study, and saw that the room was full of archaeology and history books. As for the maps that Su Yin was looking for, there was no lack of them. From the world to the country, from the country to the provincial capital, especially the northeast region that he mainly studied. There were even maps of individual prefecture-level cities. However, Su Yin's target was not on those maps, but on the map of the northeast region. He pointed at a no-man's land and said, Professor Lu, I want to know if there are any historical records of this place. When Professor Lu saw the no-man's land that Su Yin was pointing at, his face stiffened and his whole body froze. When he came back to his senses, he laughed dryly. That is a no-man's land. What kind of records can there be? It is just a wasteland with nothing. Wasteland? Su Yin smiled. It seems that real archaeology is different from novels. In the novel, it is written that there is a very rare jade buried underground. Which novel? Professor Lu's face was deathly pale. Su Yin was sure that Professor Lu was not telling the truth. He must know that there was something special about this place, but why did he not dare to say it out loud? Could it be that there was something that he could not say? I forgot about it. I just read it on the internet. Su Yin said lightly, Professor Lu, you are an archaeology professor, and have a special research on the northeast region of Huaxia. There must be a lot of people who visit you and give you advice. How is that possible? No one has ever visited me before. Professor Lu's reaction was quite big. Su-yin was a little confused. Su-yin could not help but frown deeply. It seemed that things were far from as simple as he thought. Could it be that Professor Lu was also related to that group of people? Why would Professor Lu have such a big reaction whenever Su-yin mentioned a place? If he was not guilty, why would he have such a reaction? Chapter 542. After leaving Professor Lu's house, Lin Xuero asked Su-yin several times why he was in such a hurry, but Su-yin did not give her a direct answer. He didn't want Lin Xuero, who was such an upright old professor, to suddenly become a bad example. Without concrete evidence, Su-yin would never speak carelessly. What do you want to ask Professor Lu? Why does he look so pale? Before Lin Xuero left, she also found that something was wrong. In the past, Professor Lu would politely ask her to stay for a while when she left. However, this time he did not say anything and just said goodbye very plainly. Su-yin took a deep breath and said, "If even you can see it, then it means that there must be something wrong with my question." What do you mean by that? Lin Xuero was confused by Su-yin. She did not understand what Su-yin meant at all. What did he mean by there must be something wrong with his question? If there was no problem, why did he ask? Su-yin shrugged and said, "There are some things that even I don't know, and I really can't explain it to you. I believe that Professor Lu is a good person, but I'm worried that he will be used by others. By the way, does Professor Lu often contact people outside of the campus outside of school? What are you doing? What's wrong with Professor Lu? Didn't you say that you wanted to discuss academic problems with him? Why are you suddenly concerned about him?" Lin Xuero said, "I don't care. If you don't tell me clearly, I won't answer you." Su-yin sighed helplessly and said, "Then there's nothing I can do, because I really can't explain it to you." Lin Xuero was speechless. "Tisk so stingy. You won't tell me anything." In fact, Professor Lu rarely communicates with people outside of school. If there's someone outside of school who contacts him the most frequently, it's probably only his son, but his son hasn't been home for 2 years. 2 years. Su-yin sucked in a breath of cold air. Yuanbo and the others' home had been occupied for 2 years. Perhaps there were many coincidences in the world. Su-yin could only hope that this was the case. Seeing that Su-yin stopped talking and began to daydream about other things, Lin Xuero also ignored him in a fit of pique. On the way home, Lin Xuero didn't ask anything, and Su-yin didn't seem to have any intention of saying anything. Lin Xuero became even angrier. She simply went back to her room and closed the door, ignoring Su-yin. By the time Su-yin reacted, Lin Xuero had already returned to her room. He really did not know how he had offended this young miss. Lin Shuhai wasn't at home today either. Because the level 1 combat alert had been lifted, he was busy organizing a furniture and building materials group purchase in a city near Yanjing. He probably wouldn't be home for the next 2 or 3 days. After returning to his room and taking a shower, Su-yin began to meditate on the bed. He breathed in and out to adjust his state of mind and meridians. After experiencing the baptism of Yumarin in the Dragon Brigade, Su-yin seemed much more relaxed. The internal force that restrained him had dissipated, and everything about him was very smooth. What Su-yin didn't expect was that after he released the internal force of extreme young boy, his internal force would actually make a breakthrough. It was reasonable to say that Su-yin hadn't seen Guogua for a long time. Why was his state of mind still able to maintain a rapid growth process? After a few guesses, Su-yin finally determined that the growth of his skills was because the external force blocked by extreme young boy's internal force was no longer obstructed, so his state of mind and strength had improved by leaps and bounds. After 3 cycles of qi circulation, Su-yin went to bed early. He had to get up early the next morning. Since he had promised Yuanbo to help him, Su-yin had to do something. At 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning the next day, Su-yin went east along the West 3rd Ring Road. The sky was still dark, and the neon lights flickered. When he arrived at the southwest side of Pan Garden Bridge, he saw the crowded Pan Garden Old Goods Market in the night. This was the nationally famous ghost market of Pan Garden. This ghost market referred to the opening hours of the market. In the past, Yanjing's ghost market was also called the night market or the dawn market. In the past, the night market referred to the latter half of the night, with dawn as the limit. At dawn, the stalls would close. The common people called it the business of selling stalls in the middle of the night. For example, the Eastern Dawn Market outside Chongwen Gate, the night market outside Xuanwu Gate, and the dawn market outside Dishing Gate. The ghost market of Pan Garden belonged to the old Yanjing's ghost market. It opened at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and there were a lot of people. Speaking of the reason for the rise of the ghost market, it had to be said that the late Qing dynasty was about to fall into a turbulent era. At that time, even the emperor couldn't protect them, let alone the officials. Many of the Qing dynasty's nobles and rich people had no way to make ends meet after their families fell. They could only rely on selling the family property left behind by their ancestors to eke out a living. But in the end, they had been prominent for a time. How could they put down their heirs and lose face? Therefore, taking advantage of the half-light before dawn, they took antiques and secretly set up stalls on the street to sell them. Not only did they avoid acquaintances, but they also made a deal. Yanjing was the imperial city. In the past, it was the place where bureaucratic aristocratic families gathered. Now there were many ruined nobles. Over time, it followed the tradition and became a ghost market. At that time, the sky wasn't bright and there were no electric lights. It was pitch black. The poor used flint stones, the rich carried lanterns. Under the dim flickering lighting equipment, shadows shuttled back and forth, drifting erratically. There weren't any ghosts, but the ghost aura was there first. In addition, there were many thieves who came here to sell some things that couldn't see the light of day. There were also counterfeiters who took advantage of the chaos to peddle some fake goods. Both sides were sneaky. No matter what, it couldn't be separated from the word ghost. Therefore, this ghost market was still called the ghost market until now. To tell the truth, this was Su Yun's first time coming to the Panjiayuan Old Goods Market. He didn't come here because he was in the mood to look for antiques. He simply came to look for people. As soon as he entered the Panjiayuan Old Goods Market, Su Yun was instantly infected by the atmosphere here. Although it was early in the morning, it was extraordinarily lively. There was an endless stream of people searching for treasures in the ghost market. Many people were holding flashlights and cloth bags. At first glance, one could tell that they were addicted to collecting. Because the truly knowledgeable buyers generally appeared in the Panjiayuan Old Goods Market, it was very rare for them to appear during the day. During the day, many of the stalls in the Panjiayuan Old Goods Market were empty. Most of the sellers were sitting and chatting. When they saw the buyers, they were also indifferent. There weren't many transactions. The stalls in the market and the regular customers who often came in and out of the market all understood in their hearts that the Panjiayuan Old Goods Market was the ghost market in the early morning, when the sky wasn't bright yet. Because the waters of the antique trade were too deep, most of the items that were displayed during the day were mostly worthless items. If one wanted to find something good, it could only be realized in the ghost market. During the day, the majority of the items displayed by the stalls were high-quality fakes. The people who bought them were mostly people who didn't know the trade. Only in the ghost market would the stalls bring out the real goods. And the people who came here to search for treasures were also experts. Therefore, the items could be sold at a high price. Therefore, Su Yun came to look for someone at this time. Otherwise, he really didn't know where to find Ma San'er. Because there were too many people in this place, and it was Su Yun's first time coming here, it was especially strenuous to inquire. What's more, at this time they were all doing business. When the majority of the stalls heard that Su Yun was inquiring about someone, they immediately ignored him. Therefore, for Su Yun to find Ma San'er in this ghost market, it was as difficult as going into the river to catch shrimp. But in the end, hard work paid off. Su Yun finally saw Ma San'er, who was busy in full swing in a corner. Hey, if you want a real treasure, then you have to be willing to pay the price. You can ask around. My Panjiayuan Old Goods Market, Ma San'er's hands. When has there ever been a deceptive fake? Ma San'er held a goblet in his hand and said to a customer wearing a hat in front of the stall. Yuan Dynasty's Jingdezhen colored porcelain goblet engraved with inscriptions. Let me tell you, it's not easy to get this thing. If you really know the goods, then name a real price. I don't want to make money. I just want to make friends from all over the world. I want this thing. Su Yun, who suddenly appeared behind Ma Sanner, snatched the goblet from Ma Sanner's hand and said, "You name a price." Ma Sanner was startled. After all, the person who appeared behind him didn't understand the rules. If he accidentally scared him and broke these treasures, wouldn't it be a fraud? Just as Ma Sanner turned his head and was about to scold him, Su Yun faintly smiled. At that time, Ma Sanner was so excited that he almost peed in his pants. "Oh my God, why is it you?" Ma Sanner's face turned white. At the very least, doing business should pay attention to first come, first served, right? Seeing this, the customer wearing a hat became anxious. "I saw this thing first, of course you have to sell it to me. I'll pay 300,000. When Ma Sanner saw Su Yun, he knew that nothing good was going to happen. How could he still be in the mood to sell goods? However, Su Yun was not ambiguous. He directly said to the customer wearing a hat, "I'll pay 600,000. It's over." Ma Sen cried in his heart. Originally, he was hoping that this Yuan Dynasty Jingdezhen colored porcelain goblet could be sold for 500,000 to open the market. Now, with Su Yun's interference, there was definitely no hope. Anyone who knew the trade wouldn't pay more than 500,000, right? After all, this thing had a slight flaw. Although ordinary people couldn't see it, as an antique expert, Ma Sanner thought that this thing was worth 500,000 at most. Unexpectedly, under Su Yun's coercion, the customer wearing a hat stretched out his thumb and forefinger and said to Ma Sanner, "I'll pay 800,000. Su Yun clicked his tongue twice and handed the Yuan Dynasty Jingdezhen colored porcelain goblet back to Ma Sanner. "It seems that this treasure still doesn't belong to me." Ma Sanner never thought that because of Su Yun's interference, this Yuan Dynasty Jingdezhen colored porcelain goblet would be sold for 300,000 more than his estimated value. This was really good luck to pick up money early in the morning. Ma Sanner didn't dare to greet Su Yun. Su Yun also knew that if someone said that he was an actor, he didn't say anything and just continued to wander around nearby. Ma Sanner knew that since he was seen, he definitely couldn't run away. He obediently continued to do his own business. Soon it was 6 o'clock. Su Yun saw that the stalls in the Panjiayuan market were basically full, and the merchants who were late could only wait for the other merchants to withdraw their stalls. Many people were holding a small flashlight and carefully studying the items. Some people carefully looked for about half an hour, and then began to casually haggle. Once the deal was done, they immediately put the treasure into the cloth bag. As time went by, Panjiayuan Ghost Market was already crowded with people, so crowded that not even a drop of water could trickle through. Around 8 o'clock, the sky was bright and the ghost aura had dispersed. The ghost market was basically over. Although the ghost market was over, Panjiayuan was still lively. All kinds of antique furniture, the 4 treasures of the study, coins, clothing, masks, historical relics, ancient books and paintings filled the entire market. All kinds of antique transactions were still going on, and all kinds of sad and happy stories were still happening. Chapter 543. When it was time for the ghost market to end, Ma Sanner skillfully put away his stall and went straight to his small door in Panjiayuan. To be honest, his door was usually not open. He just put some miscellaneous items there. Speaking of antiques and treasures, if they were genuine, how could he put them in an unattended shop? Speaking of Ma Sanner, very few people could tell his age from his face. He dressed like a young man in his early 20s, spoke and acted like a man in his 30s or 40s, but his scheming and shrewdness was like a 50 or 60-year-old old fox. In fact, he had just turned 30 this year. He had inherited his master's messy skills, and could be said to be a rare talent. Su Yun followed Ma San, all the way to his storefront. Smiling slightly, he said, "San Yi, could it be that until now you are still unwilling to hire someone to help you look after your storefront? Although Panjiayuan usually can't do big business during the day, more or less you can earn rent. You are idle, isn't it a waste? There are many people who waste their time. Ma Sanner pointed outside. He was not the only business operator like Ma Sanner in Panjiayuan. Many people now don't like to waste their time here to scam those 3 melons and 2 dates. After all, there are many ways to make money now. Unlike more than 10 years ago, the people in Panjiayuan basically relied on their income to eat. Speak frankly, what do you want from me? San Yi is indeed a straightforward person. I knew I didn't find the wrong person here. Su Yin chuckled, hey, it's not urgent. No matter what, I am still a guest. Early this morning, I helped San Yi sell a good start. Don't tell me you didn't prepare some good tea to entertain me? With a wry smile, Ma Sanner said, I say, Su Yi, please don't call me San Yi. Calling me San Yi, I don't have the slightest confidence in my heart. I am really afraid of you. As long as you come to see me once, I will have bad luck for a month. My small business, I beg you to spare me. Didn't I accidentally break a plate that Emperor Taizong of Tang used last time? It's been more than 2 years. Why are you still doing it? You're not a man at all. Su Yin disdainfully said. I have never seen someone as petty as you. Didn't I say that I'll compensate you however much it costs? If I really can't afford it, I'll find a place to get you one. Ma Sanner had a helpless look on his face. He thought to himself, you're just saying. You should really get me one. Alright, don't talk nonsense with me. If you have something to say it quickly. I still have something to do outside. Su Yin, I won't beat around the bush with you. If I wasn't looking at my Shifu's old face, I would have directly thrown you out with a broom. You still want to drink tea? Humph, I don't have hot water here. Su Yin sat down on the Taisher chair inside the shop. Ma Sanner, did I just call you Yi? So you really think of yourself as a Yi? When your Shifu was still here, what kind of treatment I had when I came here, have you forgotten? If you don't know how to appreciate kindness, then don't blame me for not being polite with you. Look, the fox's tail is showing. What do you want to threaten me with? I did resell cultural relics, but you didn't catch me in the act. If you have the ability, you can come to every ghost city to catch my weakness. Otherwise, I'm really not afraid of you. Ma Sanner humphed. When my Shifu was here, I didn't see you being so rude. It's really like the tea gets cold when the person leaves. Su Yin glared at Ma San. Alright, less nonsense. I don't have hot water. I don't need you to make tea. Help me see if you recognize this thing. After saying that, Su Yin took out that Yuan Bo's painting from his bosom, the poisonous snake that was pierced by a dagger. In addition to having an official job in Pan Garden, Ma Sanner also had an identity that only a few people knew. He was the successor of the all-knowing man in Jianghu. The person that Su Yin first met was not Ma Sanner, but his Shifu, the previous generation's all-knowing man in Jianghu. About 2 years ago, Ma Sanner's Shifu passed away due to illness, and Ma Sanner officially took over. As for how they knew about the world, Su Yin really couldn't figure it out. Maybe they were really proficient in astronomy and geography, and could calculate a lot of things. In any case, Su Yin was very confident in their erudition. It seemed that in this world, there was nothing that they didn't know. So when he saw this rare team picture, Su Yin's first thought was to look for Ma San. The reason why Su Yin didn't come yesterday was because he knew that Ma Sanner could only appear in Pan Garden Ghost City, and Pan Garden Ghost City only opened on Saturday and Sunday from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. This was the reason why Su Yin rushed to Pan Garden Ghost City early in the morning. Ma Sanner stared at the picture that Su Yin took out for a long time, touched his chin, and said to himself, You drew this? Oh, not bad. Your drawing skill is not bad. Don't learn from other stars, don't play dumb. Do you know or don't you? Su Yin said. Ma Sanner laughed. Do you think I know or don't know? I'm afraid that I don't know whether you have taken over Sky Entertainment Group or not, but there is nothing that I don't know. Su Yin, don't tell me you forgot the rule of asking me questions? Su Yin spread his hands. I definitely don't have money, don't even think about it. Tell me, what do you want me to do? I'll do it. But I only have one condition. I owe you first. I'm a man of my word. First, tell me who these people are. I knew you would do this again. Words without proof. Let's make a contract. Ma Sanner said. Since you don't have money and still want to ask questions, Then promise me, when you take over Sky Entertainment Group, you will also package me, push me, Ma Sanner, into an international superstar, and make a few blockbuster Hollywood movies. What do you think? Pfft. Soo-Yun couldn't hold back. He laughed until his stomach hurt. Ma Sanner, what is in your head? What are you thinking? Ma San glared at him and pushed the paper with Yuembua's drawing in front of Soo-Yun. Forget it, just pretend I didn't say anything. You can go. You can't afford the money. You can't do anything for me, and you still want to ask me questions? Do you really think I, Ma Sanner, am not the true successor of the all-knowing man in ganghood? Soo-Yun quickly stopped laughing. Okay, I promise. I will definitely find a chance to make you a superstar in Sky Entertainment Group, okay? I can't guarantee that you'll be a Hollywood superstar. You can't rely on the company to make that happen. You have to have the ability. Look at the international superstars. Which one of them isn't an actor? It doesn't matter if you become an international superstar or not. You have to promise me at least a movie or an album. Ma Sanner made the biggest concession. I don't care, you have to promise me. That's the most basic thing. Deal. Soo-Yun only wanted an answer now. Of course, he was straightforward. Ma Sanner quickly took out a piece of paper and scribbled. You sign first, I'll write a contract. Then I won't be afraid of you going back on your word in the future. Soo-Yun swung the pen and signed his name. Do you think I, Soo-Yun, am the kind of person who doesn't keep his word? You're really looking down on people from a crack in the door. Seeing Soo-Yun sign his name, Ma Sanner proudly put away the contract. His expression was absolutely satisfied, as if he had already become the #1 superstar in Huaxia. Soo-Yun really didn't know where his confidence came from. How about it, are you satisfied? Soo-Yun, can you tell me now? Ma Sanner put away his complacent expression. How did you provoke this group of people? You have 100,000 whys? It was Soo-Yun's turn to be impatient. I've already promised you that you want to be a superstar, and you're still not done, are you? Forget it. You really don't know how to be a good person. Ma Sanner said. This is the symbol of the Viper Expedition Team. This expedition team is a small team under a multinational group. Nominally, they do exploration and archaeology, but in fact, they are a group of special mercenaries. Among them, there are history fanatics, tomb robbers, and fighting experts. Anyway, there are more than 20 people in this team, and each of them has their own strengths. If there's one thing this group of people has in common, it's that they have no humanity. As long as it's something that benefits them, they will do anything. After that, Ma Sanner shrugged his shoulders. I've said what I should say. You didn't ask so much at first. I said so much for the sake of old acquaintances. How about it? Is it enough? Then do you know where they are now? Soo-Yun continued. Ma Sanner frowned. Soo-Yun, I'm reminding you as a friend that some people are better not to provoke. The power behind them is great, and it's not something that you, a fired Special Forces instructor, can afford to provoke. But since you asked, I won't hide it from you. If there's no accident, the Viper Expedition Team is in Huaxia. As for where they are, I really don't know. Although I'm the successor of Bai Shaosheng, I really don't have the ability of my ancestor. Soo-Yun smiled slightly. He was already very grateful that Ma Sanner could tell him this. At least Ma Sanner let him know that this group of people was not so easy to provoke. They were definitely not something that he could deal with alone. Thinking about it, if the other party didn't have the ability, he was afraid that with Yuan Bo's ability, it would not be so easy for them to occupy their home. Ma Sanner, thank you. Soo-Yun got up and said, I won't delay your business. See you later if there's a chance. I don't have any business to do now, so I won't delay it. Ma Sanner said, You can't go back on the words we wrote in black and white before. Later, you also remind that white Mei Zhu Yeqing that he's ready to promote me, a newcomer. I may not have much hope if I walk the idle path like this, so I'd better walk the strength path. Soo-Yun nodded, then shook his head. I don't think the strength path suits you. I'd better recommend you walk the strength path. Talk to you later. Chapter 544. After understanding the general situation, Su-yin knew that it was time to blow the whistle and gather his brothers. It just so happened that tomorrow was also an auspicious day, so he called everyone one by one and asked everyone he thought could help to gather in Yanjing tomorrow. When everything was ready, he decided to set off for the land of ice and snow. He was determined to help Yuanbo take back their home and homeland. After Zhuo Meiyan hung up the phone, it took her a while to come back to her senses. She really didn't know what had happened that made Su-yin directly ask her to help. It seemed that the Crown Prince of Sky Entertainment Group was really annoyed by someone. Not only did he ask her to go alone, but he also asked her to bring Zhu Yeming, Wang Zhe, and Wu Yuandong with her. It seemed that the person who had offended the Crown Prince this time was not a simple person. Otherwise, Su-yin wouldn't have made such a big fuss. Since the Crown Prince had asked, Zhuo Meiyan naturally didn't object. Everything in Sky Entertainment Group was going smoothly. She only needed to leave Fengying to take care of it. After making some simple arrangements and preparations, Zhuo Meiyan directly called Zhu Yeming and asked Wang Zhe and Wu Yuandong to take turns driving. She was full of vigor as they set off from Qingdao directly to Yanjing. Tang Jiu roughly understood the situation and knew that Su-yin must have encountered some trouble. Therefore, after Zhuo Meiyan and the others rushed to Yanjing, Tang Jiu immediately called the Zhang brothers. Ever since the Tang family split up, Zhang Wenning and Zhang Yongliang had been arranged by Su-yin to stay in the Tang family. If anyone wanted to cause trouble, they would give them a warning. They had been itching for a long time. Now that they received Tang Jiu's order to help Su-yin, they were naturally 100% happy, 100% excited, and 100% excited. According to the address that Tang Jiu gave them, Zhang Wenning and Zhang Yongliang didn't do anything. They directly drove to the highway from northern Ji to Yanjing. They couldn't wait to do something. Lin Ge was naturally a capable helper that Su-yin absolutely needed. Even if Su-yin didn't need Lin Ge to go to the northeast with him, he would definitely call him over and ask him clearly. He really wanted to know who did those things in Japan. If it was really CFAIs and the others, then Lin Ge would naturally have heard about it. After Lin Ge received Su-yin's notice, he did not immediately agree. Instead, he brought up something that Su-yin did not expect. Brother, if I leave, who will help you protect Xinjiang and the people you need to protect? Su-yin was stunned for a moment. He remembered that he did not tell Lin Ge that he needed to protect anyone in Xinjiang. Are you referring to Sister Shuang and the others? Brother, don't hide it from me. Sister Shuang doesn't need my protection at all. With Qin Wan-er's position in the Xinjiang police station, there are not many people who dare to provoke Sister Shuang. Lin Ge said, nowadays the local gangsters are very well informed. They know who they can provoke and who they can't. Even if they know that Sister Shuang, who just took over Xinkai Hotel, is a foreigner, they definitely know about her relationship with Qin Wan. Brother, you know very well that no one will dare to touch them. When I said the people you need to protect, I naturally don't mean them. Su-yin said lightly, Lin Ge, what do you know? I know that there must be someone protecting the people you need to protect. But Gu Zueran told me that that person alone can't protect them. He needs my help. Lin Ge blurted out. Gu Zueran? Su-yin was shocked. Lin Ge actually met this fraud before. Where did you see him? Lin Ge really wanted to slap his own mouth. How could he be so careless and let it slip? Originally, Gu Zueran didn't let me tell you. He was afraid that you would find trouble with him. He said that he calculated that something would happen to you in Xinjiang. He also calculated that I would meet you in Xinjiang. Therefore, he found me in Xinjiang and told me to stay in Xinjiang. He said that the people here must have a use for me. He said that according to the celestial bodies, there is someone you need to protect in Xinjiang. That person will be in trouble soon, and you can't be in Xinjiang. Therefore, I must stay to help that person. I asked him if that person was Sister Shuang. He said no, that it was a child. Su-yin frowned. Although Gu Zueran's words were extremely strange, he still didn't want to believe it. You still believe that fraud's words? When I went on that mission that year, what did he calculate? He said that if I went out that day, it would be a great victory. But in the end, I led the team and got trapped. Later, my brother died. You tell that fraud to be careful not to let me see him. Wait. How do you know him? I've known him for a long time. Lin Gu said. Gu Zueren is known as the divine mathematician. He rarely makes mistakes. You must have had a special reason that time. He told me that he let you down and didn't dare to see you. It was that mistake that he didn't calculate that the higher-ups of the police would betray you. He wanted to help you for so many years, but he didn't dare to see you. That's why he found me this time, and asked me to stay in Xinjiang to help you. Otherwise, I would have gone to Dongying with my martial brother. Wait, this jump in thinking is too fast. Su Yin was a bit confused. You mean Xiefei's is really in Dongying? Lin Gu wanted to twitch his mouth again. This was what the old man personally told him not to say. Gu, just pretend I didn't say anything. I really can't say anything. How about this? I've already explained to my master that I have to stay in Xinjiang to help you, so I have to stay here. Su Yin shook his head helplessly. Just because you met that fraud Gu Zueren, and he told you to stay in Xinjiang, you'll stay in Xinjiang? Is staying in Xinjiang helping me? I need your help now, so I called you. I don't need your help in Xinjiang. I want you to come to Yanjing. Don't you understand? Lin Gu laughed dryly. You really want me to go to Yanjing? You don't need me to stay in Xinjiang to take care of it. Do you believe me or that fraud? Su Yin said sternly. He once swore that he would never believe those glib fortune-tellers again. Because even the divine mathematician Gu Zueren didn't predict that he would be betrayed during that mission and lose his best brother because of that betrayal. So now that he heard about the divine mathematician Gu Zueren, Su Yin felt a headache coming on. Even if Gu Zueren was recognized as the world's #1 divine mathematician, he would never believe anything he said. Today, when Lin Gu suddenly mentioned Gu Zueren, it indeed made Su Yin's heart waver. But in the end he still refused to believe Gu Zueren's words. If Lin Gu had to choose between Su Yin and Gu Zueren, then he would still choose to listen to Su Yin. Gu, I understand. I'll immediately buy the fastest flight. After hanging up the phone, Su Yin's mind was in a mess. When he couldn't sit still anymore, he couldn't help but call Cho Yun. He didn't know why, but Gu Zueren's words made him restless. What's wrong? What happened? After Cho Yun came to school to accompany the students, she could only go home once a month, just like Guagua. So ever since she came to school, she hadn't been home. Moreover, she wasn't a talkative person, so she didn't call RuanQingshuang. Usually, it was Guagua who called RuanQingshuang every few days to report the situation at school. You haven't felt anything strange recently, have you? Su Yin. How are you and Guagua at school? Are you okay? Cho Yun smiled. Su Yun's concern touched her. Guagua and I are fine. Nothing happened. Guagua's ability to adapt is stronger, so even if she stays at school for a long time, she's not uncomfortable. But she did cause a lot of trouble at school. Fortunately, the school leaders gave one her face. Su Yin was speechless. That little girl really made people worry. Forget it. Fortunately, Cho Yun is looking after her at school. If she causes trouble, Qin Wan'er will help her clean up. That's good. As long as you two are safe. Oh, by the way, tell Guagua that when she's on vacation, I'll take her wherever she wants to go. Tell her to be good at school. I'll take good care of her. Cho Yun. You take care of yourself. When I heard Guagua talking to Sister Shuang on the phone, it seemed that you were busy with something. Rest more often and pay attention to your safety. I will. You too. Su Yin. There's no clear news about Green Ghost's life or death. You also have to be careful. No one doesn't want to know Guagua's big secret, so you can't let your guard down at any time. Guagua's vacation is coming soon. You have to work hard for a few more days. Cho Yun nodded. There's still a week before the vacation. Taking care of Guagua is what I should do. Don't worry, I won't let anything happen to Guagua. And I believe in you. After hanging up the phone, Su Yun's heart calmed down. At least he could be sure that Cho Yun and Guagua were safe at school at this moment. He believed that no matter how crazy a person was, they wouldn't rashly go to the school to cause trouble. Once the matter alarmed the whole society and the government, there was only one way out, no matter how strong the person's backing was. As long as Guagua and Cho Yun were still at school, Su Yin could rest assured. Su Yin said to himself, Guzuerin, if you continue to talk nonsense, I won't be polite to you. I want to protect someone. Even if Lin Gu isn't there, there's still someone who can protect her. You don't need to worry. You should worry about yourself. It's best if you calculate when you'll meet me. At that time, I'll settle the old score with you. Even if Suyin knew very well that the accident had nothing to do with Guzuerin, everything Guzuerin calculated before was quite accurate. All the mistakes were the mistakes of the high-ranking police officers who suddenly betrayed them. If they weren't betrayed, Suyin and the others would definitely be singing a song of victory. Perhaps it was because that failure had caused Suyin to lose too much, and the blow to him was too great that he had mercilessly fallen out with Guzuerin. He and Guzuerin hadn't seen each other for more than a year. Perhaps when they met again, Suyin really didn't have so much resentment. After all, everything would fade with time and fade away with time. After all, that incident wasn't Guzuerin's fault. Suyin was angry because he had nowhere to vent. Chapter 545. Lin Gu was the first to arrive in Yanjing. He was very lucky. After hanging up the phone, he booked a plane ticket on his phone as soon as possible. It took him 15 minutes to get to the airport, just in time to get on the plane and leave. Therefore, compared to other people who drove all the way to Yanjing, Lin Ji's trip could be said to be as smooth as it could be. Suyin didn't ask them to gather at Lin Xiuero's house. He was worried that too many people would talk and say the wrong thing. Moreover, Suamayan was not easy to deal with. If Lin Xiuero was pissed off at her master's house, Suyin would be lifting a rock and smashing it on his own feet. Therefore, he simply used Yuan Bo's rented house as the meeting place. This way, he could avoid a lot of trouble. Suyin didn't expect Lin Gu to come so early, so he went to say goodbye to Lin Xiuero. He had already left without saying goodbye once, so Suyin didn't want to do it again. Even if he couldn't give Lin Xiuero the future she wanted, he didn't want to hurt a girl who was absolutely infatuated with him over and over again. Therefore, when Lin Gu came to Yuan Bo's house according to the planned location, Yuan Bo didn't know anything about Suyun's arrangements. Lin Gu knocked on the door. Facing this person who was faintly exuding a bestial aura, he unconsciously put his whole body on guard. When Yuan Bo saw Lin Gu, who was tense and exuding a faint murderous aura, he naturally raised his guard. The faint murderous aura between the two collided with each other, and became stronger and stronger. It wasn't their fault. It was Suyun's fault for not making things clear. After all, Yuan Bo was very cautious now. He had just dealt with the two guys who had been monitoring his every move last night. Today, a stranger suddenly appeared. Of course, he would think that Suyin was here to cause trouble for him. Who are you looking for? Yuan Bo stared at Lin Gu without blinking. As long as Lin Gu dared to do anything offensive, the hand behind his back would not hesitate to stab the sharp knife hidden at his waist into his chest. Lin Gu was also very cautious. He confirmed the house number again, and confirmed that the address was correct. He believed that Suyin was a cautious person, and would not make such a low-level mistake. The address was definitely correct, so he was very sure that he did not find the wrong place. Suyin had asked him to come because he needed his help. After he came here, he found a half-human, half-beast guy. Of course, he would be suspicious. Who are you? Lin Gu had no intention of avoiding Yuan Bo's gaze at all. His hand in his pocket was ready to stab the sharp dagger in his hand into the center of Yuan Bo's throat at any time without hesitation. Although neither of them made a move, they were already at each other's throats. As long as one of them had any subtle reaction first, the other would immediately respond. After that, the two of them did not speak. At this time, the slightest movement could cause the two of them to fight to the death. Time passed by, and the two of them were separated by a door, but neither of them was willing to open their mouths and make any concessions. Because neither of them had figured out the other's strength in the dark, neither of them dared to make a move rashly. In a fight between experts, a single mistake could mean eternal damnation. No one wanted to lose at this most critical moment. Suddenly, the elevator ropes rang. Both of them muttered in their hearts. Both of them were worried that the elevator would suddenly stop on this floor, and then the other's helper would come out. However, Things were so coincidental that the elevator did stop on this floor. The moment the elevator door opened, Lin Ge finally reacted. He quickly withdrew his body so that he would not fall into a situation where he was attacked from both sides. Yuanbo was also shocked by Lin Ji's reaction. He was worried that the other's helper would come out of the elevator, so he no longer hesitated to take out the Beast Slayer wrist knife from his back. The elevator door opened, and the two brothers with obvious birthmarks on their faces walked out of the elevator in shock and surprise. Blue-faced Beast Zhang Wenning, Ghost-face Azura Zhang Yongliang. Lin Ge looked at the two in surprise. Although he had never seen them before, he could recognize them at a glance. The two looked so similar and were so ugly. One had a blue birthmark, the other a red birthmark. Who else could they be but the Zhang brothers? Zhang Wenning said in surprise. Who are you? Seeing that the other party recognized them, he immediately became vigilant. The other party's aura was very strong. It was obvious that he was not an ordinary expert. Why are you here? The sense of crisis in Yuanbo's heart became even more serious. He was worried that the other party had arranged for someone to deal with him. Who are you? Zhang Yongliang looked at Yuanbo in the room, and quickly got into a battle-ready posture. What are you doing? The four of them formed a tripartite situation. No one trusted the other. Everyone had their own scruples and worries. But none of them understood what was going on. Now they hoped that Su Yin would come out and explain to them what was going on. However, Su Yin was now explaining to Lin Xuero why he had to leave for a while. Perhaps it was because Su Yun's sudden disappearance last time had completely frightened Lin Xuero, so Lin Xuero was somewhat worried about Su Yun's request to leave for a while. But Lin Xuero knew very well that Su Yin was definitely not someone she could tie to her side. Rather than not agree and force him to disappear, it was better to agree. At least this way, he would not be afraid to appear in front of her because of this reason in the future. Lin Xuero, who was enlightened, gently agreed to Su Yun, but she put forward a condition, which was to let Su Yun accompany her to the amusement park before leaving. Su Yun had always felt guilty about Lin Xuero, so he naturally agreed to Lin Xuero's request without hesitation, and immediately took her to the amusement park. After all, the others would arrive in Yanjing in a few hours. Su Yun took Lin Xuero to play the drop tower, the Ferris wheel, the pirate ship, the hurricane flying chair, the roller coaster, the transparent bridge. Lin Xuero, who had always been timid, played all the things she did not dare to play with the company of Su Yun. By the time Su Yun and Lin Xuero came out of the amusement park, it was already 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Su Yun accompanied Lin Xuero to eat Pizza Hut before saying that he would take her home. Lin Xuero knew that she had received enough, so she politely refused Su Yun's request to take her home, and left first on the pretext of going to the bathroom. Su Yun, who was still waiting for Lin Xuero to come out, was interrupted by a chubby little boy. "Uncle, there is a beautiful sister who asked me to give this to you." F***CK, am I so old? Su Yun smiled bitterly, took the note from the chubby boy, and gently pinched the little guy's face. "Little fatty, thank you." Just after the little fatty left, Su Yun opened the note and saw a line of delicate handwriting. "Let's play a game, okay? The person who suddenly disappeared last time was you, but this time it is me. But I won't disappear to the point where you can't find me. When you are free, remember me and come to see me." The next line was a beautiful signature, Lin Xuero. Su Yun smiled, put away the note, got up and quickly left the pizza shop without looking back. When Su Yun arrived at Yuanbo's place, he was completely shocked by the mess in the room. It was a complete mess. The table and sofa had all collapsed, but that was not a big deal. Even the chandelier on the ceiling was broken. It was really shocking. There were 8 people in the room that could still be seated. Zhuo Meiyan looked at Su Yun with a speechless expression as Su Yun walked into the room. Su Yun also looked at her blankly. In addition to Zhuo Meiyan, Zhuo Yeming and Wang Zhe also looked at Su Yun speechlessly, while Wu Yuandong shrugged helplessly. Opposite the 4 of them, the 2 brothers Zhang Wenning and Zhang Yongliang were both red in the face. One was rubbing his arm, while the other was pinching his neck. It seemed that their movements were too big and sprained them. Next to them, Yuanbo lowered his head, as if he was very embarrassed to see Su Yun. "Lin Ge, who was closest to the door, looked at Su Yun with a silly smile. "What the hell are you doing?" Su Yun said with his eyes wide open. "Even if it was an earthquake, it shouldn't be like this, right?" Obviously, it was a fight. Zhuo Meiyan was not polite. She said directly, "Before you let us come, can you inform the owner of this room? Let him know that we're on the same side. Don't let him get into a fight with his own people. This is really infuriating. If I hadn't come, I'm afraid that they would really fight to the death." What happened was really unbelievable. Su Yun did not expect that Lin Gu, who came first, would confront Yuan Bo, and then the Zhang brothers, who came later, broke the deadlock. The three parties suddenly started fighting. The whole process was from the outside to the inside, and then from the inside to the outside, turning the whole room upside down. Lin Gu and Yuan Bo were equal in strength, and the Zhang brothers were definitely not to be underestimated when they joined forces. So the three parties were evenly matched. Plus, they all had concerns about each other, so they were evenly matched. At this time, Zhuo Meiyan came with her people. Seeing the foul atmosphere here, she was completely stunned. The three parties finally stopped fighting and looked at the four people who had appeared in a daze. Zhuo Meiyan really suspected that she had come to the wrong place, so she asked, "Is Su Yun here?" As a result, the people of the three parties all pointed at her and said, "Su Yun is my brother. Help me deal with them." Now the three parties were completely dumbfounded. Lin Gu slapped his forehead and said, "Ouch! How could he forget to mention Su Yun's name after coming here? It actually caused such a big misunderstanding." Yuan Bo also lowered his head in embarrassment. As the host, he actually did not distinguish between friend and foe, and fought with his own people. He really had no face to see others. Zhang Wenning and Zhang Yongliang, the two brothers, slumped to the ground with a cry. Fortunately, they were all on the same side. If they were opponents, they were too strong. They really had no confidence to deal with them. Fortunately, they were friends. Fortunately, they were on the same side. After Zhuo Meiyan understood everything, she didn't know whether to laugh or cry at these fellows. They didn't even ask before attacking. Fortunately, she had appeared in time. Otherwise, they might have really killed someone before they would have let the matter rest. It was really a flood rushing against the Dragon King's temple. Their own people smashed the door of their own family. After Su Yun heard this, he really wanted to bang his head against the wall. These guys really embarrassed him. But then again, this was also his fault. He told Yuan Bo to be careful of someone secretly dealing with him, and he also told Lin Gu and the others to help him. It was very likely that the two parties would meet and cause a misunderstanding. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.